Let's go.
Trick the algorithm. Going for a CC first versus Zozo. That is optimistic. See how it turns out. Zozo is already sending a probe across the map. Anyways, intros. Spawning down the bottom left, we have the blue Protoss. It is Zozo. Meanwhile, up in the top left, we have the mech fan. It is the red Terran Antibbot.
Yeah, CC first is definitely a bold move against Zozo, and it might be the right call here, as Zozo isn't actually going for a cheese opening, it seems.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I do love Antibot's confidence, just saying it's always either 5% or 95% in its games.
And there, that command center does go down. Meanwhile, we have a pretty standard gateway gas opener out of Zozo.
Yeah.
Immediately populating that gas with 2 probes. And actually a second depot out of Antibot, which is an interesting call.
Yeah, that's it's hard to find a world in which that makes the most sense, but anyway, as Antibot does eventually start up its barracks, and we'll see if it gets up a bunker in a timely manner. Like, Zozo does like its stalker openings, like, but I don't think it's actually too aggressive when it goes for this. Like, it's just like a sort of like safe expand build with the 2-gate cybercore. So I'm not even sure if it'll try to attack Antibot early or not. Like, it might just be like stalkers into Tempest type thing as the one macro build that Zozo has.
Yeah, and immediately those 2 stalkers start as soon as the cybercore finishes. They could pose a problem for Antibot if they do decide to go across the map, as the barracks is still not complete yet. I'm not even sure if a bunker could get up in time if he tried to. But we'll see if Zozo's going to be offensive or not with this.
This would actually be an interesting sort of insight into how Zozo works if it does attack with the 2 stalkers, because I've definitely seen games in which like it does just sit at home based off. But yeah, it looks like it's probably just sitting at home again. Maybe waiting for like 8 stalkers or something in a prism.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of one-base defensive setup here. We got the 2 gas and the shield battery, and then is going to end up losing that scout probe finally. So he's had 1 SCV off the line for the last 2 minutes chasing that probe around.
Probably a wise move with Zozo's probes. Yeah, but Antibot's being greedy and so far getting away with it. It might be being like greedy though. The fact that it hasn't started a bunker yet is just, that's like reckless greed. It's not greed. It's yeah, a little bit yeah, just reckless. There is a factory almost done though, so maybe it'll get out a siege tank prior to a Zozo attack hitting. That's sort of like the thing I'm looking for things that could potentially save Antibot if Zozo does move out.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be okay for Antibot as the things are going right now, unless Zozo just decides to attack before he gets an Immortal or something. But it's actually a Stargate going down for Zozo, so...
Yeah, and Zozo's floating quite a bit of minerals too. So I think we'll see a Nexus at some point, but yeah, Zozo isn't like the greediest spot in the world. It's like, it will delay the natural expansion when it decides to go for these macro builds, but based off this, we really should see a move out once this prism is done. Otherwise, it's just like, yeah, just a very, very silly way to go about macroing up.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about with Antibots. I think all this timing would have worked out really well for him, whereas economy would have kicked in, but he's using that economy to get another base. So if he scouted that he wasn't up against an expansion and just did the 2-base power up, I think he would have been in perfect spot. Now I'm very worried for him.
Oh man, yeah, that prism's done. Does Zozo attack though? That's the question. It looks like Zozo's building a Nexus, so we might not get an attack. This could be a build up into Tempest. For Antibot's sake, hopefully Zozo does decide to sit at home. And So far, it is doing exactly that. Another Stalker pops out, but no, it's just probably waiting for Tempest at this point, if I had to guess.
It's funny, like we've seen Zozo do so many different builds, and I think all of them would have already won the game at this point. But
Yeah,
the fact that he's staying at home and Hennybot's being this like blindly greedy, and it's actually kind of working out for him. That maybe even this third base will pay off if Zozo still doesn't decide to attack for a long time. And with that
yeah, we're
expansion, he
having
may
tank
not.
production, which is nice,
Mhm.
as those are just very powerful. We're getting Medivacs to support the bio. Antibot's moving out to secure what looks like a fifth base location. For some reason, it always builds like one of its bases further out than it should be. um, and yeah, just a very passive opening from both of these bots, but Antibot's the one that's been way greedier. Like, it's 53 workers against 27.
Yeah, and his amount of production is very small. He is adding on another factory now, which is good, but it takes a while. Like, what is he producing? Just from like 2 barracks and 1 factory at a time?
Yeah, like this is a very slow build up from Antibot army wise.
I mean, he will have an army as well, so I guess he could spend some money on upgrades. And he does have, I think, a good position to defend. I would suspect Zozo will be coming up towards that third base, and that's where all of his tanks are.
Yeah, yeah. It might not be for a while though, because Zozo is getting up a fleet beacon. It's sending a zealot out. I'm guessing that's to sweep the third base, maybe, or just to scout out. Um, yeah, this is kind of Antibot's game to lose because it's had a way better opening than its opponent.
Okay, that was odd. What was he looking for? A burrowed zergling there? What was that scan?
Hey, and you never know, I guess. Yeah, it's just so quirky. Antibot's like expanding methods are fun to watch, which I think is just one of the funniest things about Antibot. It just plays in such a uniquely like strange way.
Yeah, and it looks like his army's actually going to go defend that 5th base as it's getting set up. That does mean he's way out of position if Zozo decides to attack, and his first Tempest is finishing very soon.
Yeah, this
there are
is
some Vikings and a Thor now as well, though, so there are some answers to the Tempest issue.
I do like the Thor. Yeah, we'll see whether like the tanks of Antibot, if a fight happens, can get a good position, because if they can just kill all the stalkers, then I can see like Antibot eventually dealing with the Tempest. But if like the stalkers can do a good job just sort of protecting the Tempest and abusing that, then it might be a bit rough. But still Antibot's game to lose. We've even got 2 Thors being produced at a time now.
Yeah. Neither side decided to even get a single upgrade yet, even though there's a second armory being built for Antibot.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that second armory before starting any upgrades.
But yeah, I don't think the stalkers will be much of an issue. That many marauders and siege tanks against 0/0 stalkers.
Yeah. Oh, is that a 4th base move out or an attack move out?
I think it's an attack, and Antibot has gotten his army back in a decent position now. Yeah, it looks like they're mostly around the natural, which is kind of close, I guess.
Yeah, this is a 72 army supply Protoss attacking into a 118 supply army Terran that's just about maxed out with Thors, with just so much stuff, and we'll see whether Zozo can make a miracle happen with its really nice micro. Okay, the bio is fighting away from the tanks, kind of. I think maybe a few are shooting, but what a strange engagement. The Thor may actually go down. I think quite a few stalkers have perished during this. But it looks like Zozo may just decide to go home.
Yeah, it seems that way. He was able to keep his Tempest alive. Some of them take a little bit of hull damage, but the Thors are very much distracted by the stalkers, which I don't like. They really should be focusing these Tempests every time they can.
The grouping isn't the best from Antibot, as like its bio was away from the tanks, the Thors were away from the bio. Tanks are sieging up as Zozo tries to poke on in, but the tanks are actually in range of the stalkers now. Stalkers are moving forward and eating lots of shots. There's also bio for Antibbot there to help finish some of those off, as the Terran takes a pretty decent trade against the Stalkers, but the Tempest are still a bit of an issue as there's seemingly no anti-air.
Yeah. There are 3 Vikings and a Thor being produced at a time, so the production is okay. And there's a 3rd Tempest who have joined the battle.
Oh, look at that. 3 Thors coming down.
Yeah, and the tanks are pre-siege, so I think these Thors will have a good time now. And won't be stuck out off
coming
on
in
their
too.
own.
And there's the Vikings as well. Tanks even sieging up on the back are able to ensure kills on pretty much all of those Stalkers. Vikings are pursuing as well, so Zozo will lose all of its Tempest as Antibbot is able to take a good enough fight to basically reset the Protoss.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a flank of siege tanks before, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of happened like twice too, which is the impressive
Get a siege
thing.
tank surround like a Zerg player.
Okay,
Thors are kind of
Thor.
up on their own yet again, so they are going to be taking a lot of shots from Stalkers and not returning any damage to the Tempest, which kind of sucks, but they did reset the Tempest count anyways, and even getting a Tempest, nice.
That range on the Thors is so good.
Yeah, Vision's actually the biggest problem, because Tempest shoot at range 10 and Thor shoot at range 12, but I think the units only can see as far as, what, 9 or 11 range? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I do like that Antibot's actually pushing its advantage here, not wasting time and getting close towards Zozo's 3rd base, as the Protoss is really on the back foot. Zozo has been mixing in Immortals to its composition, which is definitely nice against the Thors. Numbers-wise, though, it's still going to be a struggle. We've got Vikings coming in once again. There's not that many Stalkers to shoot them out of the skies, so they should at least get one of the Tempest here. And any trade at this point, I think, is a good trade for Antibbot.
Yeah, resetting the Tempest count yet again. And Immortals are nice, but against bio tanks and medevacs, like, you need a lot more than this. The Stalker deaths have been highly significant. They are not cheap units, and he's lost, like, I think the exact number is 1 billion of Stalkers. 40, I was close.
Yeah, Antibot's kind of passed the test in that if it's given a really nice economic lead, it's not going to fumble it. So Zozo may be regretting the build. We've got probes being pulled against the Thor, which is a bit of a tall order for the probes, as Antibot's now hitting the 4th while also pressuring the 3rd base location. The Tempest just don't cut it against Thors.
No, I mean, Thors are fat and have to deal with terrain, and they're slow. So if you get like really high Tempest numbers, they can actually work well versus high Thor numbers.
Yeah.
Just because the Thors, they all don't get to fire at the same time.
Yeah, it's
like the 3 in the front will fire, and the ones in the back won't be able to reach. But in these low number counts, the padding's not really an issue, so the Thors just dominate the Tempests. They're basically a hard counter.
Yeah. I think it's like 3. I want to say like 3 grouped up Tempests can do okay versus Thors, and anything more really becomes a problem. But well done by Antibot. Maybe a bit of an upset for game number 1.
Yeah, that was a strange match, like from Zozo there. I wasn't expecting that really. So.
Yeah, very slow start out of Zozo, especially with what he was scouting. He just decided to like sit back, sit on a battery. Seemed like a very defensive, slow expansion sort of style. And that's not what you want to be doing against a bot who's just like blindly greedy going to 3 bases. So nice win out of any bot just in the build order win, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder, like, did the author of Zozo like just pick that build or throw it in because they didn't know who they'd be playing in the 5th round of the tournament or something? So, or I guess the 4th round, but
I don't know. All right, well, let's have
well
a look
done by
and
Antibbot.
see if there's a different build in the 2nd game, shall we? Get that running in 1 second. All right, let's go.
Okay, so game 2, Antibbot is up 1-0, but trying to stay alive is Zozo, spawning in the top right. It's the blue Protoss, and Antibbot, the red Terran in the bottom left. So we have cross spawns on Ultra Love here. And it looks like it's going to be another CC first build, so let's see if Zozo decides to play a similar build. I would imagine the author of Zozo, he's put a lot of work into the macro portion of his bots, but so often in tournaments he has to cheese down his opponents because he's facing stronger opponents. I wonder if this is a case where he's like, well, my macro can probably beat Antibbot, so let me just, finally get to display what I've worked on in the macro neighborhood.
Yeah, like it is the one build that Zozo does on the ladder too. Like it doesn't cheese on the ladder. It literally just does like this slow Tempest Stalker build up. And it works against like a lot of bots, but not one that's being so greedy and has good enough army control to not just be whittled down by Stalkers and Tempest. So yeah, we'll see as Antibbot does the same build. Zozo goes for a similar opening.
Yeah, I've been burned by this by using statistics from the ladder as well. Like Zozo plays this like slow macro style, so my bot learns like what the best build is to beat Zozo. And then you face him in a tournament, he's doing something completely different, like probably building gateways in your base. So you train your bot to like be super greedy, and then you find out that that's actually the worst thing you can do against Zozo. But in this case, he's doing what he's normally does on ladders, so Antibot's like seems like he has the answer to it.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed by this too because Antibot's definitely not like a bulletproof bot when it comes to defending cheese.
Oh no, we saw like he would 100% die to everything in the game
Yeah.
one. He had no idea what he was facing. He was just like working off 2 barracks for a long time with no bunker and building a 3rd command center. I mean, it was extremely risky. Sometimes you gotta do that to beat bots that are stronger than you. You gotta take much stronger, and take really big
Yeah,
risks.
so like
But,
it kind of makes me wonder if the author just didn't like plan for a round 4. Maybe they're like, oh, I'll just beat tier and 3-0 and not try and think more about it. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know what goes through authors' minds when they're pre-planning strategies, whether they do something for their opponent or not. But I thought Zozo's author would be the one person who would do that because he has a history of always having the right build to kill the opponent he's facing. He's like won tournaments by just out mind gaming his opponent. But yeah, maybe just Antibot just is running a little below the radar. Zozo's worried about -0 and Eris and stuff, and didn't really plan anything for Antibot.
Yeah, maybe not. I am a little surprised though, because like usually, like even in like a series that the author plays, they usually at least like mix it up. So seeing the same build twice in a row like isn't great, I don't think. Maybe things can go a little bit differently. Maybe Zozo will get like a better army positioning against Antibot, or something along those lines. But for now, looks like it's not on the best course.
Yeah, I mean, assuming it goes the same as game 1, I think the winning condition for Zozo would just be the first engagement. If he can cut down the anti-air again and have those Tempests left over, getting free reign. Because the first engagement, there wasn't a ton of anti-air, and the Thors, have that ability to just walk into stalkers and die outside of the range of their siege tanks. I think the way Antibot's coded, if I'm seeing it correctly, is their bio likes to stay in range of the siege tanks, stay where they're protected. But the Thors don't have that coding. The Thors are just like, oh, we'll go walking off and we'll find our targets. If the siege tanks don't come, that's their fault.
I think one of my favorite things about Antibot too is that if it gets 3 Thors, sometimes it will assign them to do like Thor run-bys, where it'll send them just like along the left or the right side of the map to go hit an exterior base. And it just like, it's a terrible strategy, but it also kind of works just because like 3 Thors are so awkward to deal with. But if they get intercepted, they can just be butchered. So.
And they do one-shot workers. Like, you don't see Thor harass often, but it can actually work.
No.
It's funny enough. Sometimes you'll see Terrans want to get rid of their siege tanks, so they start doing just like siege tank drop harass, and it actually works. I mean, not so much in the bot meta, but in like pro games. It's like the unit you would never think to harass with, but yeah, it can work. I can see Thor's being the same way.
I guess it's a shame we didn't have it's a shame we didn't have the bot scene back when there was siege tank medivacs, because imagine that.
Yeah, tank. Well, the bot scene might have existed back then. I'm trying to think what came first, Alpha Star or Tankovacs. They're both from quite a while ago.
I think Alpha Star came after, just because Tankyvacs were gone within like a year of Legacy of the Void.
Anyways, if there was a bot meta back then, the bots weren't sophisticated enough to do it. That's back when bots would just move towards the opponent's spawn position, and if anything was not within reach of the spawn position, then the game would just end in a draw. Micro Machine would just move, build Reapers and nothing else. Move Reapers or move Marines. It was a different
simpler
time.
times.
Simpler times, yeah. Krip actually has a good history of the bot meta video on his channel, some buried somewhere. But it's interesting to see how far the bots have come along.
I really recommend that one for anyone that is newer to the scene. Like it's an awesome video.
It's great for context too, because you see like what the early bots looked like, and you see the bots today. It's like, wow, the bots are so good. But if you don't have that context, then you just watch the bots today, you're like, wow, they're really dumb compared to humans or compared to Alpha Star. But yeah, it's a lot of work to get the bots looking even somewhat decent. Yeah, meanwhile, gigantic stalker build up yet again. Fleet beacon on the way. I'm not seeing much different from game 1. So yeah, just a huge economic lead for Antibots, but low production still.
Yeah,
so I think it's going to come down to that first attack. That's probably the only attack where Zozo has a slight advantage.
Yeah, we'll see if Zozo can make magic happen with its army supply. Like, this is its macro build. Like, it is not a greedy bot, but it just gets wins on the ladder based off the fact that, like, Tempest are very strong. It has very good micro with them. But Antibot's good enough to counter that. And when you give Antibot a big economic lead, it's not going to be easy. I don't know if there's a bot, like, even like -0 that could win with this few units against Antibot's composition. So
yeah, first Tempest is out. He has the Warp Prism. I think he even juggles units in the Warp Prism, if I recall Zozo correctly. But yeah, the other thing that could have happened, but I don't see happening here, is if Antibot's whole army is like way out of position. We saw in game 1 where he took a base in the corner and sent his whole army to the corner.
yeah,
if something like that happens while Zozo's attacking, he may end up losing the entire base before he even gets back. And, you know, running back to join a fight when you have to siege tanks can also turn out poorly if the tanks aren't pre-sieged.
It can do. Looks like we are going to have Zozo being the aggressor once more. And it's just going to be attacking in right where Antibot is. Antibot sees this. The tanks are sieging. Oh man, this could be a disaster for Zozo as so many tanks are firing already. Yeah. The bio is pushing forward, so the Stalkers will back out of the tank range. There's already Vikings, though, to engage the one Tempest and threaten that Warp Prism. This is not looking too hot for Zozo.
Yeah, that was worst case scenario. Even the way the Antibot's army was like moving back and forth, and ended up setting up the siege tank in like this perfect line to just block the choke points. Like sometimes you end up with a tank in the back and not doing anything, but not that time. All 5 are lined up perfectly perpendicular to his attack angle.
Yeah, this is just not a winning strategy against a bot like that's as greedy and has as good macro as Antibot, good army control, and it is able to kind of just wipe the floor with Zozo's force. Antibot's ahead by 100 supply total.
Yeah. And I really like Vikings against Tempest when you're ahead economically.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't feel like that big of a deal if you're losing a ton of Vikings getting the job done. As long as you're getting the job done and keeping the Tempest count low, that's all that matters.
There's the Thor. Random Thors.
Yeah, they actually come in the back and start sniping the Tempests that are hiding in the back as well. I love it.
Yeah, the Antibot Thor hit squad doing its thing. The Tempest, yeah, just are being killed by the Vikings, and there's no way Zozo can win this. So a bit of an
the shield
upset.
battery. Yeah, shield batteries did keep the Tempest alive there, so he still has those 2 Tempests, but yeah, this is over. So that shield battery in his main base actually ended up saving 2 Tempests.
So Antibbot's going to advance to the round of 8. Maybe a bit of a dark horse for the tournament, but taking down Zozo is quite impressive.
Yeah, I'd love to see Zozo add some variation based on what he scouts, because he does do that worker scout, so
yeah, it doesn't
that should
seem
give
like
him
it
enough
does
information.
anything.
Is like, yeah, like should I build the shield battery or not? Like, don't build the battery if your opponent's fast expanded, or
I agree, yeah. Like,
things like that. Just little
cut
deviations.
stalkers, get the quicker nexus, that kind of thing.
Or even don't scout. You know, if you don't
Yeah.
have the code written to deviate based on what you're scouting, then don't even bother scouting. Have the extra worker at the start of the game, and that gets you an extra like 60 minerals a minute.
Yeah. No, well done to Antibbot. Very quick start to the evening, 2-0. Yeah, I was wondering if like maybe Zozo did scout and maybe mis-scouted something, or assumed that there was a rush coming or something like that maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated to, it's not just sending out your worker to scout. Then you have to code like to interpret what you're seeing, and then you need to code deviations in your build orders, which is also very complex. So there's a lot to it. So he's probably on like step 1 of implementing that into his bot.
Yeah.
And step 2 would be understanding what he's seeing, and then step 3 is creating deviations in his build based on what he's seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just suspect like this is a default build that gets fallen back to, and he didn't have anything set up special for this tournament, at least not versus Antibbot. So yeah, a little unfortunate. And Antibbot's learned that this greedy build just destroys Zozo on the ladder, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So well done by Antibbot. Zozo, of course, not out of it. We'll be back next week for the final matches of the Swiss.
Yep.
Yep.
So
and that will be the do or die week. So you win, you're
Yeah.
through to the round of 8. You lose, you're out of the tournament.
Yeah, there is no second chances next week. You've got like win you're through, lose you're out next week. But tonight is not quite so bad, at least for our first 3 matchups. So let's have a look at our next matchup. It features GPT, the bot formerly known as Tom Test in the last tournament, now General Purpose Terran. Took a loss against
Tom Test. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I never made that connection until now.
No, it was the General Purpose Terran, known as General Purpose because it likes to throw a lot of Marines, and they're very general purpose.
Yeah, perhaps a bot with like the strongest timing attack. Honestly, like for 1 bases, like it is such a strong 1 base attack. Like I think it forced like all the top bots to adjust and have a counter just because it was that strong. So we'll see how BenBot's going to handle that potentially.
Here we have it.
I'm still hoping for a GPT versus WickedBot connection. I want to see what the 2 bio styles look versus each other.
Absolutely.
One's very micro heavy, one's very timing heavy.
Yeah, that would be so good to see. Maybe we will. We don't know.
Wait.
Only loss for BenBotBC is against -0, which is no great disgrace, but like coming up positive against Canada and Zena. So yeah, still very much on good form in this tournament. So yeah.
Yeah, BenBot is an absolute monster. He has that slow turtley style and prefers like the heavy tech units, and there's downsides to that, which a bot like -0 can obviously exploit. But other than that, I mean, there's not really that many holes in the game of BenBotBC besides like the strategy itself. The implementation is very, very strong. And there's advantages to having those heavy tech units like battle cruisers, so sometimes they just mop up the game for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if BenBot gets to that point, it's pretty much already won. It'll be the hard part getting to that point. So,
absolutely. All right, let's have a look at the game.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, let's go.
Okay, spawning down in the bottom left of this TBT, it's the Red Terran GPT. Meanwhile, up in the top right of Ultra Love, we have BenBotBC as the Blue Terran. Already throwing down a depot and sending off an SCV. Is we going to see a crazy early scout, or is this going to be some proxy barrack shenanigans?
Yeah, this could be the BenBot signature single proxy racks that is perhaps one of the best value like cheeses, because it's a cheese, but it's also a very low commitment cheese, and it can sometimes just totally break bots. So if BenBot thinks it's a good idea to do against GPT, it probably has had success with it in the past, but we'll see. Is GPT is going for its one base opening.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like in StarCraft 2, we had like the resources of minerals, gas, and supply. But whenever I play as a slow player, I always think of actions as a resource. Like if I do these actions, like these are doing this as small amount of actions for me, but it requires a lot of actions for my opponent to deal with it, something like that.
Oh,
and
absolutely, yeah.
And then with programmers, there's like, if I do something that's low coding effort to do, but it's a high coding effort for someone to deal with, that's like another set of resources almost. And Bunker Rush is definitely one of those things where it's pretty easy to implement into your bot, but it can be a big pain for your opponent to code a way to deal with it. Because
yeah,
in early bunker, you don't want to just be like funneling your units into it and dying, especially if there's an SCV repairing it. So you got to like stay out of range of it. You got to build up a strong enough army, or you got to outrange it, and then you need to break out. That's a lot of effort. But just building a bunker and filling it with Marines, that's almost no effort at all.
Yeah, I agree on that philosophy. Like I'm the same way playing ladder and stuff. Like I'll queue up a drop, but I'm sure not going to micro it because just I've got other things to do in the game.
Yeah.
But it'll be a headache for my opponent. So yeah, we've got GPT doing its famous one base build where it gets +1 attack, just builds up a very consolidated strong bio punch. And the timings for this are going to be really interesting because it will have enough bio to crack that bunker. It might be a bit more difficult if BenBot gets out a tank to reinforce it, like it sometimes does. But I don't know how the timings line up for this, to be honest.
And I think the biggest advantage here, like GPT might be one of those bots that's not coded to handle this. It might just like funnel all of its units to its death. But I think the biggest advantage here for GPT is he doesn't know that the bunker even exists. And if he doesn't know it exists, he's not going to throw his Marines away. I don't even think that Mule saw it. So GPT probably won't move out until he has a large army to attack the enemy. And that's the perfect time to deal with the bunker when you have a large army.
Yeah, even if there is a tank for BenBot, GPT might be able to overcome it just because it will have like so much bio. The +1 attack and the combat shield like really strengthens this core, and then BenBot might not have much to defend back at home, honestly. So this could be a bit of a roll of the dice. And again, maybe because we are later in the Swiss, like I don't know if this build works for BenBot on the ladder against GPT, but maybe it's just like a generic build that BenBot has as a choice. So we'll see here as that tank is going to be rolling up and reinforcing this. GPT, though, will be getting ready to move out and attack soon. There's the tank sieged up, not too far forward, which I definitely like. As GPT is moving out, combat shield's about to finish up. It does finish prior to the engagement. There goes the bio, stepping forward, shooting the bunker prior to the tank. The bunker goes down. But the beefy bio is eating way more shots than they should. BenBot restarting the bunker, allowing the tank to get even more damage done. GPT is now kiting back against the bio. It needs to dive on that tank, and the last two Marauders do get it.
Yeah, so probably a good trade for BenBot, but You know, there is this window where he's a little bit weak at home. Luckily, he destroyed almost all of GPT's army, so it doesn't matter that much if he's weak at home, as long as he's got a bunker of 1 Marine, or even a
Yeah,
Widow
does
Mine
he
might be
have a
enough.
bunker? He's building 2 right now. Okay, there's a Liberator. That's very nice.
And the Widow Mines would probably do the trick too. Even 1 Widow Mine, I think could kill both those units. If you hit the one that's higher in health.
Okay, BenBot I think might just have this unlock now with the bunkers and the mines and the Liberator, because like I think the Liberator might even be better than the Marauders, better than the tanks, just because the Marauders can't shoot the Liberator. So
Liberator is not that great versus bio though. Like a Liberator shooting a Marine is almost bad. It feels like gigantic overkill. Whereas the siege tank can like splash everything, but now there's a siege tank as well, so yeah. Yeah, like if all that bio was right at BenBot's door, I think it would actually be able to break through right now. Especially with that 1 bunker having no units in it, means it's a lower threat priority.
Yeah.
But now we got 3 Marines, 2 bunkers. Yeah, I think it might be too late. We'll see.
Yeah, there will be +1 armor, so the bio is going to be pretty durable. BenBot, though, like, it's got great repair behavior too, so I think GPT will definitely be, BenBot will definitely be pulling SCVs off to repair, and that's just going to allow the tank, the Liberator, to get way more shots off.
I don't know what this Viking's thinking, but
Vikings are the
probably
most
the same
suicidal
pilot
unit.
Staying true to the Heart of the Swarm trailer.
Yeah, they really do. Bot Vikings are just so reckless. Now, in goes GPT. It's not trying to target down the Liberator, the tanks, the wall of BenBot. It's just a bloodbath. Yeah.
At that point, there was 2 tanks, 7 Marines, so then you couldn't even get past the repair.
Yeah, BenBot it's the efficient bot on the defense. I don't think there's a bot that has better defensive efficiency. GPT is going to try again. There might even be a planetary at the 3rd by the time this attack hits. BenBot will still have the wall. It's like watching a wreck in slow motion, I think, at this point.
Well, if he denies the 3rd, that buys him a little bit of time. I'm not sure what the pathing will be here. You might not even end up seeing it, but there was a chance there to deny a 3rd, even pick off a siege tank. Unfortunately, it looks like he's heading straight into the natural again, and that is going through the wall of death once more.
Yeah. Yeah, GPT not going to break BenBot.
Yeah, and even if he sniped the 3rd in the siege tank, that just kind of buys him another 30 seconds because he's still down 2 bases to 1 even despite that.
Yeah, and GPT does have a macro build, but it doesn't have a macro follow-up or transition for any of its builds. So like it will 2-base, but it will never take a 3rd. If it's 1-basing, it won't long distance mine or like even float the command center to take another base, which is something I'd love to see from it. But it just kind of fizzles out if the first 2 waves don't work generally.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind that too much. I mean, if you're doing a 1-base all in, just commit to it, right? Like the odds of a command center, late command center actually getting you back in the game is so small that I'd just rather have those like 400 minerals for a few more Marines and
Oh yeah, I agree on that. I'm just more referring to like long distance mining when it starts to mine out, and if it does mine out the main, I think that would be something cool because when it's doing this all day on the ladder, it does get into wacky situations where I think that would help. But yeah, it's not going to happen as BenBot has got this on lock. I think we can probably fast forward at this point.
Yeah, we got down to 4 mineral patches now for GPT, so his 1-base income is now a half-base income, and he will continue. This unit's lost stab is probably absolutely insane. He did get some kills at the beginning, but now it's just getting worse and worse for him.
All right, there's the BC teleporting into the main, BenBot going for the attack. We've got our victor of game number 1.
telling you, man, BenBot's really solid.
Yeah,
Gonna be hard to crack him.
Nice work there from.
But I don't mind that attempt. You know, it's BenBot does get the slow start, so maybe that one base all link works sometimes.
Yeah, nice work there from BenBot. GPT, bit late on the attack, and then getting that tank natural with the bunker was really the death blow. Like, if he'd have had more kind of like bio after that attack and gone straight in, that BenBot would have been in trouble.
Yeah, like if you look at the point where he broke down the bunker, there wasn't much going on for BenBot on his side of the map there. So if he broke down the bunker and still had like 10 or 12 bio units left over and he walked across the map, then you could probably cut through whatever BenBot had at that point, which was maybe, I don't know, a Widow Mine and 2 bunkers, but only 1 Marine or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I had a little bit of hope for GPT there, especially since he didn't see the bunker. I'm like, maybe he'll just blow right through the bunker and can go right for the victory.
Yeah.
But, that siege tank of BenBot just got so much work done on offense. I think it got off like 12, 13 shots, which is basically enough to kill almost the entire bio force before it died.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if GPT did right-click the tank or was a little more like aggressive because it did kite back, maybe it would have cleaned it up and then had a stronger follow-up, but we'll see if it can make something happen in game number 2.
Yeah, let's have a look. Wait, wrong thing.
Okay. So spawning up in the top left, we have GPT trying to stay alive in this series, and down in the bottom left, this is a vertical spawn this time, we have BenBotBC. These vertical spawns maps are getting a little bit more popular nowadays. Persephone is just one of them. I think there's 3 on the ladder, I want to say.
Yeah, I like them quite a bit. Persephone is like on the current you ladder more than I do. It's on like the actual current ladder, right?
I get confused now. I mixed bot games with real games so often. I've forgotten where we're at with it. But no, I want to say no. I don't think this is on the ladder anymore. But there are vertical spawn maps on the ladder currently.
Yeah,
because I don't think any maps on the ladder have the healing station anymore. That's right above that proxy racks. There's a healing station there. This one's kind of cool. It's a healing station that air units can't enter, so it's only for ground units.
Yeah, I definitely do recall watching some games, which I think it was Kieran, like a TVP or something, and all his Marines were all his like 3 racks bio was stimmed and like maybe ate a storm or something. Then he just runs back to the healing shrine in like 10 seconds. It's full HP. It's like, oh, maybe this is a bit broken. But
it's usually not in a position where it's useful for like the early or mid game, really, because it's you gotta run way out of your way to go heal up, and then you gotta come all the way back. Sometimes it's not even worth the effort of going out over there. But if you have fast units like say Mutalisks, go and do some harass, pop back to the heal station, then pop back in again, harass some more. That's good for that. Or like sometimes when we had crazy late games where like you split the map in half, someone will like fortify the healing area and like make that like an impenetrable place.
It's I love this from GPT. Pulling SCVs against the bunker, although it's not targeting the SCV that's constructing it, so some lost opportunity there, and the bunker is going to get up as a result, and the Marine for BenBot just jumps right on in. Oh man, this is quite painful for the Red Terran bot.
Yeah, there's only 1 Marine in there though. If he loses that SCV, which he will, then that's permanent damage, at least for a while.
Yeah, GPT is going to pull more SCVs into the bunker. I don't think they'll quite get it burning either. If they had at least got it burning, it might have
It's not close to burning yet, unfortunately. Maybe with these 2 Marines, but I'm not sure if there's an SCV on the way. There probably
is, knowing BenBot. I'm pretty confident in that. So the bunker is burning, but yeah, there's the repair guy coming.
And now I think we're seeing the real reason why GPT decided to do a 1 base all in game 1. He probably knows he can't handle this sort of thing. But like you said, if you just have the SCV focus fire, that's kind of all that he needed to.
They did target that SCV. I think it's clearly got some anti-cheese behavior here with pulling the workers, but just not targeting the SCV is a bit unfortunate, and now I think we're in a bit of a death spiral too.
Yeah.
As BenBot's bunker this is just a great example of how strong this cheese is. Low commitment, 1 Rax, 1 bunker proxy, and it's going to kill all the workers of GPT.
Yeah, like when you're getting attacked this early, pulling workers makes a lot of sense. But it doesn't make sense if that attack is like a spine crawler or a bunker or a cannon. There's so much extra effort for the defender coding this sort of defense than there is for the offensive person. But every race has something like this. Like Broad Zerglings at a base is like very simple for a Zerg to do, but very difficult for an opponent to deal with.
I think
this is overwrite 1 SCV. Up to 2 now SCVs. Yeah.
Well
I think
done by
BenBot at some point he sends these Marines in once he gets a lot of them, if I recall correctly. So it shouldn't be too much longer. There he goes.
Has a Viking, so he can poke in and.
Oh, Siege Tank out of GPT, so it was actually a different playstyle as well. Wasn't just going to be mass bio.
Yeah, it goes for like a really strong 2-base timing. That I was wondering if it could actually kill BenBot if it with that timing if it wasn't interrupted, but BenBot says no, and now has a battle cruiser, so that's going to be it. As BenBot takes its place in the round of 8, as I think a lot of us expected.
Yeah. But on the back of the bunker rush, so you never know. If GPT finds an answer to this bunker rush, we'd have no idea what the mid game would actually look like. And I bet BenBot and GPT don't even know, like the authors. So there's potential in the future for GPT. But he's still in this tournament at 2-2. And meanwhile, BenBotBC has secured his place in the round of 8.
Yep. No, well done to BenBotBC. We will be seeing him later in the tournament. GPT, again, he will get another chance in the final chance next week. But yeah, it's interesting because I think it would have been a lot better for GPT had he not scouted the bunker. And it's just like, it's one of those things where scouting is a bad idea. But
yeah, that's why I thought why he decided to do the 1 base all in, because if you expand, then you see the bunker. you're thrown at the command center, which is in range of the bunker position of BenBot. So yeah. But honestly, yeah, if you got lucky, just say the SCV was on the other side of the bunker, so we should focus the SCV first. Then I think he had enough firepower to just blast right through that bunker. Because he had more Marines and he had 2 SCVs in the fight.
Yeah, that would have been really good for him because his timing attacks once he gets set up like that is crazy. And
yeah.
Would have been a
really it's a tough one to beat BenBot. Like even if the bunker rush was not an issue, I mean BenBot probably still has the major advantage throughout the game. He's just a very, very strong bot.
Yeah. BenBot sitting top 3 on the ladder at the moment, just behind Eris and -0, which are the only bots it struggles with. So that kind of makes sense. And we'll get to see it in the round of 8. We've got 4 more best of 3s going on today, guys. We're going to get into our next one, which will be the 2 old bots, Tyr and Sharpened Edge. I think a match a lot of people are looking forward to.
First up, we have Tyr. Again, very good record so far in this tournament with wins against Dodo. I was going to say Dodo. No, not Zozo. That's Dominion Dog and Zozo. Definitely not Dodo between them.
That's the Archon.
Yeah. That's good. But yeah, loss against -0, so he's doing really well. And our other bot with the coming around with the Zimmer frame, or not quite the Zimmer frame just yet. It's Sharpened Edge by Imphy. Again, wins over Avocados and Sharkbot, and only defeats so far to Eris last week, which is a 0-2. So yeah, should be a fun
whenever
game.
we talk about a bot that's so bulletproof that when it doesn't get updated for years, it's still a monster to deal with. We always think of Micro Machine, but Sharpened Edge kind of fits that category as well. There's not like glaring errors with Sharpened Edge, and he has a lot of builds. So the fact that hasn't really been updating that bot in a long time doesn't mean the bot's weak at all. It's got some strong builds. It's always in like Division 1 on the ladder, and if you find a way to beat one build, it'll just switch it up to another build, and then you got to deal with that one next. It's if you get your bot to consistently beat Sharpened Edge, you've done a good job with your bot.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those bots that you have to beat to be a top bot. It's almost the gatekeeper of that level, I'd say.
It is, yeah. It's a very well-rounded bot, and I think we'll have a great match between these two. I think Tier's going to be like the slight favorite, just due to the author being more active at the moment, but I think it'll still be a bit of a tough match. So yeah, let's get into it if we can.
Let's see it. One sec. All right, let's go.
Okay, spawning in the top left of Meganotha, we have the red Terran. It is Tier. Meanwhile, down in the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss Sharpened Edge. Two of the oldest bots in the scene. I think way back in the day in one of those Nordic countries, they actually had a major tournaments with significant prize pool, like maybe in the thousands for botting. And I think that's where these two bots originated from, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's way before my time, but I think that's the story I heard. There's also bots like Yamabushi that came around at that time as well. These older ones that have left the scene nowadays. Yamabushi was a bot who was famous for taking his third base before taking his natural, and it would confuse all the bots back then. It's like, oh, he doesn't have an expansion. I better hunker down and turtle.
That's so smart.
Back in the simpler days, that was a gigantic issue for bots.
Yeah, I bet that still tricks like a few bots.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You were to do
it's
that.
not the ones that win tournaments anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
Meanwhile, we have some proxy racks going down here. Is this going to be Proxy Reaper? I'd actually love to see that. One gas guy. It looks like it is. Yeah. Proxy Marauder is actually something that's Marauders is something that's very powerful versus Protoss as well.
Do we have a tech lab? Yeah, okay. So Marauders, and I don't think Sharpened Edge has scouted this. It might have scouted the lack of something, though, as it is going for a nice safety zealot, a second gateway, so not going for an expansion. And there we see it. Do you need a knife for that cheese? So Sharpened Edge showing some advanced behavior of making use of that scouting.
Yeah. Sharpened Edge is a gigantic fan of Stalkers, though, so I know he's powering out units, but I don't think he's going to get many Zealots. And you do want a mix of Stalker Zealot if you're going to be dealing with Mass Marauder. Concussive Shell will finish very quickly, has its nice quick upgrade.
This is a cool strategy out of Tier. Like, when I think of Tier, I don't really think of it as a bot that cheeses. Like, I think of it more as like a macro powerhouse timing attack bot. So I'm excited to see it bringing this out into the tournament.
Well, much like Zozo, Tier on ladder is very different than Tier in tournaments. Tier, he's one of those bots that has like 100 different builds, and he might pull out, or he might develop a new one specifically for a tournament just to crush someone. But the most difficult part here will be dealing with the ramp, the high ground vision.
Yeah.
And he is facing... There's a Zealot, which is nice. I'll buy him time. And the Stalkers do get the high ground advantage, as long as he doesn't show himself, which he doesn't. Yeah.
Marauders
Stalker's basically getting free. Yeah. But that means the Stalkers more or less get free shots until that Zealot dies.
Okay, there's the overcommitment down the ramp from Sharpened Edge as it loses those two Stalkers. It's going to have an Immortal out, though, which is just god tier against a rush like this.
Yeah, it's Marauders versus Immortals is kind of interesting in that they both absolutely murdered each other.
Yeah.
But that shield that the Immortal starts with is usually a big...
Yeah, in small numbers, the Immortal does quite well. It's like when there's a high Marauder count, then it's a bit more dicey for the Immortals. But I'm not sure if Tyr has that number yet. It does tag a Stalker with the concussive shell, gets a good amount of damage off and kills it, as the Rax is soaking a lot of damage and buying time for Tyr to pump out more Marauders. Injured Marauders getting shuffled to the back, which is quite nice, although the Rax does perish. Can that Immortal get killed by the Marauders? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, he did activate the shield early, so there's a potential there if you just decide to focus on the Marauder, the Immortal afterwards. But yeah, the Immortal does a lot of damage. Was it like 3-shot a Marauder?
Yeah,
2-shot even?
That thing will gobble up Marauders all day, basically. And now Tyr is in quite a spot of bother, as it's not just lost its army, it's lost its production. And we'll have to try and scramble to defend back at home. We'll see if we get like a bunker on the high ground. It's got a starport about to finish, which means there's a factory, but nothing is being produced out of either of those two structures. And that's
Sharpened
not
Edge is not going to let him bleed either, let him breathe either. He's got those Immortals immediately marching across the map. Even got the War Prison that might be joining up with him. Yeah, Tyr is dead unless Sharpened Edge just decides to go home, which is possible. These are bots.
It is possible. One Marauder being produced is not going to save the day, I don't think. And Sharpened Edge it's very good with its robo gateway aggression. Like, this is the style it plays the most, and so it will take game number 1. I love the warp-in too. Not every bot makes use of the Prism's actual ability to warp in units, so that's cool to see too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well done by Sharpened Edge.
Yeah. No, that's a really nice tactic there, and like, I don't think, like, once the Immortal comes out, they just absolutely rip through Marauders there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a very nice response to the cheese, just having those Immortals, like getting the Cyber Core before the gateway so you can get out that robo in a timely manner is very nice. It's like Protoss die to Marauder rushes when they're fighting and trying to keep their Nexus alive, not usually when they're sitting on one base like Sharpened Edge did.
Yeah, Sharpened Edge is
I want to give credit to that.
Sorry. Sharpened is very good with one base plays, sorry. And it's, and something he does a lot, I think. Apologies, anyway. Good.
Yeah, I want to give a lot of credit to that Zealot as well. Like, if that was 3 Stalkers instead of 2 Stalkers and a Zealot, that trade would have been like completely one-sided. I don't even think he would have killed one Marauder. But instead, I think, if I don't remember the fight, but I think those 2 inertial Stalkers killed 2 Marauders, maybe even 3, which was a big deal because that allowed him to get to the Immortal.
Yeah, that's just smart planning on the build too. Like, Sharpened Edge scouted the cheese and says, I have a gateway, but not a cyber core done. Build a Zealot. It's just it's just smart decision making. So, yeah, we'll see if Tyr cheeses again in game number 2. I imagine it won't. I hope not, just because it does have that good macro, which I think can go toe to toe with a Sharpened Edge.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay, trying to stay alive in the series, we have the red Terran Tyr, and down in the bottom right of Pylon, we have the blue Protoss Sharpened Edge. Already has an advantage in the name of the map. Home court.
Why do we not have a map called Supply Depot? That's the real question.
I bet there is one out there somewhere called Supply Depot. Probably never made it on the ladder, but...
Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, click the like button on the stream, follow AI Arena on Twitch, and if you want to get started programming your own bot, maybe you're new to the scene, join the Discord. There's lots of helpful tutorials and channels there if you're looking for support to get started programming your own bot. That's the place to be, which is linked in the description.
Interesting double gas start out of Sharpened Edge. Okay, maybe it's the same he did this in game 1.
Yeah, but, it kind of plays like Zozo a little bit, just with like the multi-gate opening, even if it is going to macro eventually. Just the difference is that Sharpened Edge will get aggressive off of one bases, like with the Robo Gateway composition sometimes, which is quite nice. And so, yeah, similar build from Sharpened Edge, completely different build from Tier, as Tier fires up a bunker on the high ground and has a Reaper being produced, pulls an SCV to deal with Sharpened Edge's probe, which I think are some of the most vicious probe scouts out there. I've seen it kill quite a few workers previously.
When I very first put my bot on the ladder, I think I would average like 7 SCV deaths to that probe every time I faced a Sharpened Edge. It's just something I didn't have an answer coded for yet. And that thing, yeah, it just walks around and just looks for those SCVs who are building structures.
Did the Reaper kill that, or is it? I think it must have died, right?
Yeah, it must have died, yeah. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 1-base all-in out of Tier. He's double gassed and bunkered, so I suspect he's going to go into something crazy, like maybe mass Stargates or...
Yeah, did Tier SCV scout? I think... I'm not sure if Tier SCV scouted or not. Because like the bunker on the high ground screams to me that like it saw the multi-gates and was like, oh, I better be defensive. So we've got that weird 1-base versus 1-base situation, and it's almost like who blinks first, who goes for an expansion and puts themselves in a vulnerable position. Yeah, Sharpened Edge just going for the Robo build once more.
Yeah. It feels like it's going to be some sort of starport shenanigans just in my head. He's pooling up all that gas, or he's mining all that gas. He's only spending minerals right now from his other two. What happens after this? Is it going to be a BC rush? I would love to see that.
Ooh, that would be sweet.
What is the Stargate for?
Tier's actually quite badly supply blocked for the moment. And I think it's going to hit another supply block here as fires up 2 depots, which is good. But yeah, it's actually maxed out again. So 2 little supply blocks in the build for Tier, not the biggest deal, but little things to take note of.
Okay. So I think it's just going to be like a classic 1-1-1 siege tank push. You know, Vikings for air control, siege tanks for range, and then bio to support. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, we'll see, because Sharpened Edge could be the one that gets aggressive, and I think that's probably going to be the biggest factor in this game. Like, if Sharpened Edge attacks and Tier's set up defensively with its tanks and its bunker and its Vikings, I think it'll go very well for Tier. But if like Sharpened Edge can catch Tier in the middle of the map, like Terran just dies basically. Like Protoss units are way more mobile, they have the higher range, and so Tier does not want to get caught out, and actually builds a command center on the high ground in its main, which I think is just the best case scenario here, as it will be getting that stronger economy but still having this really defensive position, and Sharpened Edge will struggle to break this, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking the fact that Sharpened Edge is also on 1-base, so yeah, defensive 1-base seems weird, but I guess it makes sense if you know your opponent's on 1-base and he's going to attack. You know, just destroy the attack, and then you're ahead economically with your...
And this is a nice Terran advantage, being able to build the CC on the high ground. Yeah, okay, Sharpened Edge trying to push up.
Half the Stalker's dead before the Immortals even reach the fight. Immortals are putting a lot of their attacks into SCVs and Marines, which is not ideal.
The Vikings are just so nice to kill the Prism too. Tanks shelling away, SCVs repairing the depots. Sharpened Edge does keep its 2 Immortals home and rethinks its decision, but not before losing 10 Stalkers into Zealot in that attack. It just goes to show that a game can really be decided by whether your bot's positioning. Like, even if you're both on 1 base, attacker and defender's advantage is a huge thing.
Yeah, so what is going to be next out of Sharpened Edge? Is he going to go for a wave 2, or is he going to try to take a later expansion and work his way back that way? Yeah, it's up against 4 siege tanks now, which even like things like Immortals are going to have a lot of trouble with.
Yeah. So unless Sharpened Edge can get like a nice engagement on... Yeah, unless it can get like a nice engagement where the tanks are unsieged or something, it's going to be quite an uphill battle. The Protoss is moving out to get aggressive once more. So it's got more stalkers, it's got the prism, 3 immortals. For its sake, like hopefully Tier like tries to take a third base and repositions or something, but it doesn't look like that's happening as the toss sends 1 stalker forward and is going to commit.
Stalkers got stuck behind the immortals, which actually means they'll fight together here. As long as those immortals don't shoot marines.
Yeah, nice target fire on 1 tank. The prism is juggling units. The marines, though, are soaking shots as the other tanks get ignored. All the marines pretty much die, but Sharpened Edge has to turn around once more. And the prism seems to fall asleep.
Yeah, I really thought that's something that Sharpened Edge would be better at. Identifying what the targets you should focus based on your bonus damage. Like immortals do so much more damage to armored that I thought they would prioritize shooting armored units, but they keep shooting marines, unfortunately. Like if every immortal shot was going into tanks, I think you would have been able to like break even in that fight.
It's one of those really particularly against tanks, I guess, because tanks can't retreat. Whereas like if you're trying to prioritize like, I don't know, like a cyclone or something and you dive after the cyclone, like the cyclone can just retreat against you, but tanks cannot. So yeah, maybe Sharpened Edge should have done that. We do get a Nexus from the Protoss, just very, very late. Tier, meanwhile, is chugging away on 2 bases. Looks like it might be looking to secure up a third. And Tier is getting aggressive with not that much between them in army supply, so this could actually be good for Sharpened Edge if Tier make missteps with an engagement.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Sharpened Edge is saving up to build 2 Nexuses, though. So his army size is not getting any bigger as he tries his greedy move. And so the timing of his attack is perfect to deal with him.
Oh man, this is bad news as the tanks come forward. They don't siege, so it looks like Tier waits till it sees a unit before sieging its tanks, which is maybe not ideal, as now they siege up. The bio is behind them, so not actually buffering, and 2 tanks go down. That third one just needs to be right-clicked, but it's not. There's Stim finishing for Tier. The bio, though, is just going to use it to retreat, as Tier says, I cannot win this fight, and probably wisely so.
Yeah, you said Sharpened Edge was out of position there, but that's actually the perfect position. Allowed him to flank the tanks, and even though he has no target priority on tanks, the fact that
that worked out very well. Like,
yeah, it worked out perfectly. That was awesome. So that's good news for Sharpened Edge. It looks like he did decide to spend all of his money on
which is
army.
That's really impressive too. That like it might have been aware that it was in danger and decided not to go for the expansion, which is like there's so many bots out there that would just be like, oh yeah, it's time for a third base regardless of what's going on. So I really like that.
Nice little details in Tier there. I like the fact that the Vikings do not get too far ahead.
Yeah.
Every time they get too far, they like hold back to the bio. It keeps everything close together.
Okay, a Stim forward from Tier, just diving on the Protoss army. The bio is getting whittled down as the Protoss steps back, but we might just be seeing the economic differences being too much at this point, as Sharpened Edge takes an okay trade, but simply doesn't have the units it needs to defend.
No. And that time, no free tank kills, so
No.
The Immortals were getting shredded by those Stim Marines.
Looks like we've got our first series on our hands as Tier will tie things up.
Yeah, and one of the favorite things I like about Sharpened Edge is it does have multiple strategies, so it's not like, I don't think we're going to see a repeat of Game 2 now that Sharpened Edge is lost for this strategy.
Yeah, it feels like the Proxy Marauder was a one-time thing, and just great call by Tier to play defensively to build that command center on the high ground. Like that's like such a unique feature to Terran, but it can be really strong in situations like that.
Yeah. No, I think Sharpened Edge was just a bit too turtley that game, and didn't really try and like go out and press an advantage there too much. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, just a good choice by Tier. You know, he got the early Worker Scout, I believe, and then he got a Reaper Scout. Saw that Sharpened Edge was staying on one base. And he's like, fine, I'll just build an in-base command center and just solidify my ramp. And if you attack, you are dead. And he attacked, and he was dead.
Such a wise
Oh.
move by Tier, and really just impressive game. Like those two bots are playing quite well. Like we saw both of them retreat when they realized they couldn't win a fight either, which is just awesome behavior to have programmed into a bot. Like, and it wasn't waffling. Like it was a pretty decisive retreat for both of them, which is just awesome programming. So I'm excited for the third match.
That's the advantage of having such a long history in this sport. So yeah, we'll see what happens in game number 3. All right, let's go.
Okay, so final game in this best of 3. We have Tier now spawning up in the top right-hand position as Terran, and then Sharpened Edge, the blue Protoss in the bottom left, and we are on ley lines. Trying to remember this map. Is this the one that has like a wall in the middle, or can you just walk right through?
No, there's no wall. I think there's rocks, but no walls. One thing that I did realize about this map and the bot maps in general, you're probably more up to date on this, but this is the map with the rich Vespene gas that you have to mine the minerals out before you claim it. Turns out it's just bugged on the bot maps, and bots can just take that rich Vespene gas.
Oh, really?
Without having to mine it. Because like I was watching a game and I'm like, oh, I wonder if the bot's gonna take the gas before, like, or mine out the minerals specifically to take the rich gas, but no, it just took it before. So
that's funny.
It doesn't interrupt the bots at all, which honestly I think it's probably like an okay bug, just because would be such a headache, I imagine, to do that little bit of code.
Although I was in the middle of building something somewhat generic for clearing expansion bases. Because expansions can be blocked by so many different things, like destructible rocks, or they can be blocked by Zelnaga Tower, which you have to drop rocks onto to break and then destroy the rocks. And then it can also be blocked by mineral patches. So I was building something generic to deal with all those scenarios. But yeah, I never thought of like a gas geyser being blocked.
Well, I think that's a new thing too. Like, I don't think we had that in StarCraft 2 ladder maps up until recently.
Yeah, I think that's new as well.
Which is good. It's cool we're getting that sort of tweaks. And there's Sharpened Edge's probe being a massive jerk again.
Yeah, but no kills. So well done by Tier.
Really nice behavior from Tier. This is another thing I want to point out. Tier usually, like, when it scouts with the Reaper, it just scouts. Like, it'll just send it out, do a loop of the base. It won't attack workers or anything. But it still cleans up that probe prior to doing that, which is really nice because, again, it would be super easy just to have your Reaper just run across the map not thinking to clean up the probe beforehand.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I think Sharpened Edge is actually going for the same build that he just lost with. I didn't think that was something Sharpened Edge did. He has so many different builds with like cannon rushes and one base Tempest and macro Tempest and all those things, but looks like he's just going Gateway Immortal again.
Does the data get updated in tournaments though?
It does. I'm not sure how he decides though.
Yeah.
Maybe if this build is like light years better than other builds, he'll still use it anyway, seeing if he loses with it. But yeah.
No, Tier's doing the right thing based off what it's scouted again, which is awesome to see. Getting the tank, holding the bunker. If we get a high ground command center again, that would be really, really nice and look quite promising. Sharpened Edge is building up money, but not going to spend it on Nexus. It's just producing as many units as it can. We'll see. Maybe the unit grouping will be better from Sharpened Edge. And then it'll have a better attack. The attack angle on ley lines might be better. But it is going to be quite tricky to make this identical attack work when the last one failed so hard.
Yeah, I mean the direction of that ramp is a little bit easier for him to walk up and down, but it's not going to be a fight that goes well. And honestly, last game it was almost best case scenario because he was able to save both of his immortals and his war prism, only losing stalkers. So I think we already saw a best case for this attack. So I'm hoping we just don't see this attack again, or maybe tier moves to the low ground to expand before the attack comes, something along those lines. Because I don't imagine the immortals are going to naturally shoot the siege tanks. Siege tanks are just behind the bunker. Like, yeah, this is not going to be good.
Oh man,
hopes are not high for Sharpened Edge here.
Yeah, like it didn't die right after the attack failed, so like there's always a chance like maybe it'll be able to get up the Nexus and get like again maybe somehow even better angles on the tanks defensively or something, but we'll see as the stalkers are gonna try and the stalkers are probably gonna die. So here we go, stalkers up the ramp, they lose vision as they back up, and it's just a firing range for tier. A few bio units may go down as the prism provides vision, but yeah, this is not looking good. The immortals, yeah, one of them actually dies, and so does the prism. Two of them die. You were correct, sir, and that went even worse.
Yeah, I think last time he even killed a depot or something. This time he got nothing at all, and he didn't preserve his units. Yeah. Too bad. I mean, if Sharpened Edge is doing his one base Tempest build, and you're facing a turtling siege tank player, my god, that would have been perfect. But yeah, I guess Tier knows what Sharpened Edge does, and he picks the right build.
No Nexus for Sharpened Edge, just producing its units. The immortal count is only 1. Yeah, whereas Tier will be able to secure up its Nexus. Like, who knows? Maybe Sharpened Edge, since it has less supply, since it lost more, it won't go for the second attack. We can hope, but
it could change things. The thing is, like, when both bots are doing the same strategy, you hope the losing bot gets luckier the second time around. But
yeah,
the problem is he got really lucky the first time around. Like, not only first engagement did he save all of his units, but if you remember, he got that like unexpected flank on the siege tanks in a later attack.
Yeah, we might not get that again. Okay, we do actually get something different though. Yeah, Sharpened Edge is going for a Robo Bay off of 1 base. I don't think it did that in the previous game. So like, who knows? Maybe losing so badly, it actually did decide to not attack, because like it did go for a second wave in the first game or the second game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and it seems like a later Nexus as well, which probably means his army is a little larger. Or maybe he had to rebuild more of his army before he got to the point where he thought
there's a chance. And look at this, it's actually moving out. Perfect timing to intercept Tier on top of this ramp, which is best case scenario for the Protoss. The Prism juggling the Stalkers, thinning out the bio, and staying out of range of the tanks. The Prism unfortunately dies, but now the tanks have lost their buffer, and Tier gets rebuffed.
Yeah, I mean, good choice of Tier to fall back there. I think that would have been perfect for Sharpened Edge, killing all the bio outside the range of the tanks, which would allow him to just walk all over and destroy the tanks. So preserving those tanks is good out of Tier. Still, it's a nice economic advantage. However, we do have a Nexus halfway done now for Sharpened Edge, and he just took a good fight as well.
Yeah, the Protoss lost like no supply there. So it is quite funny, just like the little things that change things in bot games. Like, I imagine that Sharpened Edge didn't go for the second attack because it did lose so bad, like even worse on the first one. So it might not have had whatever supply threshold or whatever it needed to decide to attack. And here on ley lines, like that ramp could be quite nice, as Tier is going for yet another attack, and if Sharpened Edge can do the same thing where it just kites back, this could be really good for the Protoss.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned this choke point might work against Sharpened Edge if the siege tanks siege up in the low ground.
Yeah, and it is actually moving forward. The tanks are sieging up. Does Sharpened Edge commit? It's got a Zealot leading the charge, and there's not that much of a buffer. The toss is pushing forward, targeting down the bio, but now the tanks are up for grabs. 3 go down, only 1 survives to retreat.
I'm telling you, man, the units for Sharpened Edge this series has been the Zealot.
You
think a slow Zealots is useless with bots because they never actually swing their swords, but they just soak up so much damage. It's perfect. Like all those siege blasts going into the Zealot instead of into the, the middle of the Stalkers or something is such a big deal. And now we got 3 bases on 2, so yeah, Sharpened Edge is back in this. Those 2 great fights, and I think he's equal or maybe ahead now. And there is still that opportunity for Colossus as well, because he did build that Robo Bay back in the time.
And it looks like Tier's just trying the same thing over and over again. Like, it's not being like, oh, I failed that attack, let's build up to 200 supply. It's just gearing up to go for it yet again, pulling a ton of SCVs to repair its 1 tank. The tank is going to siege up. The bio stims. The Zealot again, soaking lots of damage. The tank doesn't get targeted down. The repair is good. So that fight didn't go as well for Sharpened Edge as it's forced to fall back up its ramp. It's got lots of room to kite back, though, and is able to clean up most of the bio, but there's more coming for Tier. So, this could turn sour, although Tier does decide to retreat, giving Sharpened Edge a bit of a breather.
Yeah, that was pretty close to Tier breaking through there.
And now Tier's going to try a lot again.
Loses a siege tank right away, which is good for Sharpened Edge because he does like to focus the bio first, typically. Again, the Zealots, though, nothing to deal with the Zealots.
Just totally ignoring the tanks, though. But does... Or, pardon me, Sharpened Edge was ignoring the tanks there, but does push back Tier once again. As Tier's on 3 bases, getting up a 4th. Sharpened Edge just chilling on 3 bases, getting out +1, Blink, a Colossi, and...
Yeah, first Colossus died almost instantaneously to these Vikings, so you really need that Stalker count as well.
Yeah.
If the Colossus is out for the start of the fight, it'll be better, because they'll kite backwards away from the bio, which should keep it safe against the Vikings. And I think they'll have a Colossus out for this fight here.
Yeah, things have been going okay for Sharpened Edge, but now we do have Tier with 1-1 on the bio, and we're sort of entering like a later stage in the game, which is where Terran bio does start to win out more and more against these gateway compositions. Zealot's leading the charge once again, though, as Tier is forced back, just kind of yo-yoing a little bit as it maybe says, I've got enough supply to fight, loses a few units, and then pulls back as it no longer has that supply. So Sharpened Edge lives to fight again, potentially.
Yeah. The one thing Tier does have going for him, though, is he was able to get ahead in the base count during that time, establishing a full 4-base economy, while Sharpened Edge is only just starting his 4th now. Sharpened Edge does finally have a Colossus with his army, so we'll see how these fights go when the Colossus actually joins the fight at the start.
Yeah, what's the Viking count? Is it still... No, there's at least more than 3. There's 4 in there, which is a decent amount to kill just 1 Colossi. We'll see, though. Maybe Tier loses its 1 tank again and just retreats once more. As Sharpened Edge is going down the ramp, Tier stims the bio, but yeah, look at that. The thresholds are just wrong for Tier, as it loses like 1 unit or sees the Protoss's army and is like, never mind. So it has donated a fair amount of stuff just by consistently attacking instead of waiting for that 200 supply mark.
Yeah. And, 90% of the power of Colossus is getting that range upgrade, and Sharpened Edge has not gotten that range upgrade.
Yeah, so you're correct about that.
That's a really big deal. Those Colossus can be almost like Tempests in bot matches where they just get like infinite damage from the back. And without that range upgrade, now they're like the same range as a Marauder. Like they have no range at all.
Yeah, we'll see how Sharpened Edge progresses in this game, because it does have that 4th base up now. and mining, so it will have a lot more resources at its disposal. It's getting up charge. We'll see if it does start up more upgrades or tech, as we do get a Templar Archives on the way, which could be good. I think the implementation isn't perfect, but we do get that extended thermal lance, as you talked about, which is a big deal. Now the angles are going to change as Sharpened Edge is trying to secure up a 5th base. Colossi are swiping. Tyr has a lot of Vikings getting great shots off. The Zealots are moving forward. No charge, so it's all on the gateway units at the back. Blink is done for Sharpened Edge, but now we're seeing just the bio power for Tyr as the Stalkers keep blinking back, but are you can only blink so much if there's no one to buffer for you. So
the way that fight started was unbelievably good for Tyr. Like,
yeah,
all of Sharpened Edge units were packed together. They had to go around a corner to fight. They couldn't protect against the Vikings because of the corner they had to run around. It's like everything was perfect about that position for Tyr, and the result was very one-sided as well. Tyr is falling back once again, but he has killed the entire army of Sharpened Edge.
yeah.
Maybe if he gives Sharpened Edge time, but he's not going to.
Not much hope for the Protoss at this point. Sharpened Edge did a lot better, I think, than we expected, but just was unable to win out against Tyr in the mid-late game, just because I think the army of Tyr and the composition was arguably a bit better. The angle, as you said, on that final fight really did Sharpened Edge in, and yeah, it would have been tough either way. So
Yeah,
well done by Tyr.
Like, if they just attacked straight on in an open field, I think those 2 Colossus would have stayed, behind the Stalkers. They would have been swiping on the bio. It could have been different. But wow, yeah, that was just a massacre, that fight. Like, not only did Tyr kill the entire army, but he lost almost nothing doing so.
Really well played there.
Well done by Tyr.
He
will be moving on to the round of 8.
Yeah.
All right, so we have our 3 bots that are going to be advancing to the round of 8 tonight. There will be Antibbot, GPT, and Tyr. And the advantage of also being a 3-in-1 bot is you don't get to face one of the top 2 bots in the round of 8. So they will be having a slightly easier run, but not very easy all the time. So that's good.
That's a bigger advantage, I think, than it's
yeah. No one wants to face a 3-0 bot at the start.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
going to be difficult. All right, so we are halfway through. The next 3 matches will be elimination matches, but I feel like I've been working our casters hard tonight, and they deserve a break. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we will be back with the eliminations in around 5 minutes, if that's right. Or do you want 10 minutes? What do you guys?
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. So we'll have those 3 best of 3s once we're back after a little break. Get yourself some drinks, some snacks, some more popcorn, and yeah, click the like button. Check out the AI Arena Patreon if you do want to support the scene. Basically, AI Arena is the bot scene. So yeah, that's a great way to support it, and that's linked below.
Cool. All right.
See you in 5.
We will be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are all fueled up. I have my coffee. Here we go. And we are back. So we've managed to get through the upper bracket. We have 3 more bots qualified for the next round. And we're going to switch now to the lower bracket. First up, we have a match between Dominion Dog and Avocados. Let's just have a look.
Yeah, Dominion Dog and Avocados. This will be a good one.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Avocados maybe a little newer and a little more actively worked on. Dominion Dog, though, has always been a solid bot, and it's not inactive, I would say, but
yeah,
less worked on, we'll say.
he's had a tough ride so far in this tournament. Losing out to Tyr and Zena, and struggling to get by Aeolus. Well, actually, no, he done well in the match against Aeolus, but did have a crash. So yeah.
Yeah. The crash, the dreaded crash for bots that maybe aren't updated too often.
Yes.
So I guess
that could visit him again, depending on the map that he selects. If I know, like my bot's a Java bot as well, and I know there's an issue on one particular map, and I wonder if that's what he's running into the crash on.
That's entirely
Do you know
possible.
what the issue is that's causing it, or?
I don't.
There's a map where there's a rich Vespian wall, or sorry, a rich mineral wall right next to a gas geyser. So the Java algorithm thinks that that's a base that you expand to, and then it gets caught in an infinite loop trying to figure out how to place that. Yeah. It's like an unexpected scenario, basically, for the algorithm that decides where to place spaces.
Yeah. So hopefully he won't run into it this time, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look at the game. Give us 1 sec.
Is it torches? I don't know. It's a map where it's like vertical spawns on the right. And then there's like these bases that are behind mineral walls. I don't know which one that one's called. Anyways, right, spawning in the bottom left of Persephone, we have the red Terran. It is Dominion Dog. Meanwhile, also Terran spawning in the top left, we have the blue Terran, Avocados. Probably my favorite name of any bots on the ladder. It's even an acronym. I love it.
Some of the bot names really are awesome. Just that, like, if you open the activity page or the homepage of AI Arena, you'll see like a new bot's been uploaded, and some of the names just take you back for a moment.
Okay, but what's going on here? Doesn't look like they're going proxy 4x. Okay. Don't think that's how you're supposed to do it, but
it's Avocados. It doesn't play by the rules.
Yeah, and coding cheese is in some ways harder than coding like macro, because all these very, very specific timings and specific decisions that you make with cheese is very difficult for the bot. So when to send out these SCVs is one of the weird decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the speed mining changes all the timings too, so...
Oh, that's true. Maybe with speed mining, it's not the worst thing in the world to send out 3 SCVs right at the start. In my head, I'm thinking like, okay, you can't afford 450 minerals, so why are you sending out 3? Especially when, you know, a timing like this is so important, every mineral counts. But with speed mining, you're right, that changes everything. We do have a scout out Dominion Dog, however.
Yeah.
He will see the lack of a barracks.
Terran begins scout. Avocados is already producing those Marines. Dominion Dog is going for its own expansion, unfortunately. So not basically waiting for a scout before deciding whether to do that. We do actually get the command center. It was canceled by Dominion Dog upon realizing it's being cheesed.
I was concerned about this though, Dominion Dog. Well, I've seen him when he does this against other races. He immediately cancels the command center and then walls off his natural ramp. But a wall doesn't do much against Marines. I would love to see that be a bunker or something. I mean, I guess the wall is not terrible, but
oh my gosh, that is so many Marines for Avocados already. As
The wall can mess
the
with the
minion
pathing.
dog is just
We've
going to be
seen that
outgunned.
Raise the wall, raise the wall. Oh, he tried to
Oh,
stop
the
it.
Reaper on the wrong side of it. Oh, that is worst case scenario.
Oh, it does mess up the padding. Oh, but he opened
Yeah,
the wall.
Avocados, it's probably
If he
not...
keeps the wall closed, then they all run into the corner.
Okay. Does the Marine change things at all? Yeah, Avocados wants to get the Marine. Now it's going to shoot the depot. SCVs are coming forward, so they're a target. The Marines aren't pathing down, and they are actually breaking that wall down, so the minion dog, I think, is probably just dead here.
Yeah, we got something coming out of the factory. A siege tank. I don't think that's going to help much against this many Marines that reinforce 4 at a time. But, yeah. Honestly, all Dominion Dog had to do was keep the wall up. If he didn't keep opening the door, then all his Marines would have got stuffed in a corner. Because I can see that Avocados doesn't have that that pathing decision to like run onto the ramp before trying to get into the main.
Oh, well done, though, as...
Yep.
Yeah, that a wall is not enough to save you against mass Marines.
No.
Zealots and Lings, it is, but not enough against the Marines.
Yeah. Avocados.
Marines can shoot over the wall, and then repairing the wall is also terrible because you're just sending all your SCVs to their death as well.
Just keep the damn thing closed. Like, but oh no, it's
there was that pathing issue with the Avocados. If he kept it closed, they would have all pathed into the corner and been stuck there.
All right, let's have a look at game number 2 of this series.
Avocados showing us that it is the mass Marine bot.
It is dishonorable. He's living up to his name. And villain. And cheesy. Yeah, it covers everything in his name. Anyways, Avocados is this time spying in the top left and Dominion Dog down in the bottom right. Or actually, I should say once again in the top left. And we're on Pylon AIE. And it looks like we're seeing the same build. So there goes the SCVs.
One of them turns around, funnily enough, and then...
Yeah, it kind of did that last time in the middle of the map, too.
Yeah, it's being...
Which is fine because he can't afford to build the barracks hit anyways, but it is weird. I like to see what the code is that makes it move out and then fall back and then move out again.
Yeah, maybe the SCV just has a conscience and it's like, I can't cheese. I won't cheese. Yeah, the timings work out fine, though. Like, that third SCV does get there in time for the third racks. Dominion Dog scouting again, but we saw in the previous game that isn't necessarily enough to save Dominion Dog.
Yeah. I mean, if the wall keeps opening and closing like last time and the Reaper's not dead, I could see that kind of working out for Dominion Dog. Getting some free kills there, some free regen every time he goes back down the ramp. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a command center once again. So I suspect a similar scenario as in game 1. Maybe it's a smaller map and he gets a scout down quicker. The other problem is he cancels the command center, but he doesn't have anything to spend that money on. So it's almost better to leave the command center there just as a distraction.
Yeah, I guess it builds the depots with the command center, but like Protoss bots do this, Zerg bots do it. It's a common thing in the bot meta just to say, I'm being cheesed, cancel the command center, as Dominion Dog does now. But it's like, are you almost better off just like always delaying your command center a little bit or building it on the high ground and floating it down instead? Versus like taking the hit of 100 minerals when you cancel it. Yeah.
I'm more worried about how do you spend those 300 minerals when you get them back. Like, so you need to cancel it and immediately build a barracks. Or
it was the wall, 100%. But Reaper and Marine are shooting. Injured Reaper pulls back. No grenade by Dominion Dog. And it does take a lot less damage early on. We're getting another Marine being produced, but Avocados has got a lot of men with guns. And they are running up the ramp. They're already working away on that depot. The Reaper is going to try and be a hero, but eats a shot and then just says, I need to regen. And the wall is being worked on. It's at least soaking lots of damage, buying time, but I don't know about this one. No tank
this
started
map
yet.
doesn't have the pathing problem either, so he's not like running down to the corner every time the doors close.
Yeah, the SCV pull is decent to force the Marines back a little bit, while the one Marine of Dominion Dog got some shots off, but still no tank got started because the gas SCVs got pulled. And yeah, you need units, you need a bunker, and Avocados is going to survive in the tournament and will fight for its life next week to make it into the round of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick and painless. Putting Dominion Dog out of misery.
Yeah, guys, we have our tournament villain, and our tournament villain is Avocados. And yeah, unfortunate there for Dominion Dog. He's a former finalist on this tournament, and that just shows you how good these bots have got that he doesn't make it through to the round of 8 now. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're in the 1 and 2 area. So
Yep.
that's it. No more Dominion Dog.
Yep.
And Avocados moves into the 2 and 2 portion, so he'll be fighting for his life next week.
Very sad to see Dominion Dog go, but it's exciting that Avocados may be able to rise a little bit, and it's one of those bots that could have like a deep run potentially, just with like being a bit of a one build wonder, as long as you do the one build right and your opponents haven't maybe experienced it to that extreme before.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, because we do get an update period between kind of like this round and the round of 8, so it's possible if bot authors know that they're possibly going to be facing WickedBot, it's probably easier to code a response to that. So.
Yeah, it's true, but at the same time, that it'll depend on the draw, right? Avocados hasn't advanced yet either, but like for example, you draw against Sharpened Edge or someone, if Sharpened Edge makes it through. Or one of the other bots that maybe isn't as actively updated, like they're not going to necessarily hard counter you, and you can even fine tune your cheese potentially if you make it into the round of 8. So it's
absolutely.
We'll see. We'll just see where it lies after next week and what our round of 8 looks like.
All right, next up, we've got a bot, our random bot, Zena. Seeded 4th, but had a bit of a rocky road so far. Only beaten Dominion Dog. And lost against Sharkbot and BenBotBC, and is now facing elimination. So.
Yeah, a little surprising, but those are 3 good bots that played, so I mean, it's not like he had an easy match at any point. Now he's in the 1 and 2 area, maybe it's a little bit easier for him, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're like, if you look at the losses too, both Sharkbot and BenBot are 2 actively developed bots, whereas Zena maybe doesn't get as many updates these days, and that maybe shows a little bit of authors putting in their hard work. So we'll see if the constantly updated WickedBot can cause an upset here.
Yeah, WickedBot. Again, so lost against Eris and Antibbot. Sorry, it's saying it's won against Antibbot. That's a mistake. It lost against Antibbot. I apologize. Beat Aeolus. Again, like, had some very, very tough opponents so far. So, but yeah, there's not many.
This one's gonna make me sad. I don't want to see either of these bots go.
No, right?
Zena and WickedBot are 2 of my favorites.
Zena is always a good bot. I love random bots. I love the way it's developed. But WickedBot has just come in and absolutely been showing some amazing strategies, even though it's taken the losses. But you know, it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's exciting to see WickedBot because he's doing something new, which is nice. He's doing things that other bots have never done, because his medevac micro, his bunker defense, it's all brand new the way he implemented it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Regardless of the result,
he's a strong bot.
WickedBot has won. I think has won the hearts of many. So.
Yeah, we could have kicked him out of the tournament after the Eris match, and he would probably be happy with that because he put up a really good fight against one of the best spots out there. You got for your first tournament, that's got to feel amazing.
Although I would say it would be a little unfair to get him into his first tournament, give him a best of 1 against the second best bot on the ladder, and then say you're gone. Sorry, that's not what we do here, guys. All right, let's have a look at this game, shall we? I'll get started.
Okay, spawning up in the top left is the random bot Zena, spawning as Zerg this time. And down in the bottom right, we have the blue Terran WickedBot, tagging that he's against random, or if that changes anything of its decision. It looked like a Reaper Expand was what he decided for. 2x Reaper Expand. Based on his chat. Sometimes these bots chat one thing and do something completely different, so who knows?
Yeah, Zena does usually pick its strongest build as it's looking to get aggressive here against WickedBot. It is interesting that Zena rolled Zerg, arguably its strongest race, due to just having solid macro and just really refined Zerg builds. So we'll see. Maybe WickedBot's Reapers can get some damage done or buy some time so it can play it out, because I do think WickedBot has a lot of potential if it can make it to the mid to late game against Zena.
Yeah, I don't think a Ling Flood or anything of that sort would work versus WickedBot, as he likes to open 2 racks, but this could work, which is a Burrowed Roach play, which I'm guessing is what he's going for. I guess it could be some Ravager Rush or something, but I'm guessing Burrow Roaches. It's very popular in the bot meta. And
it does make me a little concerned just because WickedBot is, like, I think it has maybe shown weakness in that it doesn't like to scan either, which is essential against Burrowed Roach play. So that's somewhat concerning. And it does actually go for the expansion. I thought it said like 2-2-1-1, like, or two racks before Expo, but it did actually, which is a little strange. Maybe I misread that chat tag, but
it's hard to say. Maybe he wanted to go 2-on-1 after expand. So
yeah, we do at least get a bunker up at the front of the natural, which is definitely important to defending this. The Reaper's scooting around, checking for proxies, not running across the map to identify that this is a rush. And this will be a great test for the new bot. If it can see this rush is coming and respond accordingly, the main thing I think will just be ensuring that the bunker gets loaded and stays alive. As the Reaper's coming on in, it will see no natural, and it's going to jump up this cliff, see a couple of roaches, and says situation under attack. Okay, it did say Reaper Expand, so 2-1-1, so wanting to get out that quick bio, but man, oh man, it's going to be in some trouble. A bunker is being constructed on the high ground, which is nice, but the Terran's really lacking units here. It built the reactor prior to building any other units, so it's going to have like 2 Marines to defend against what is 7 roaches, the speed mining powered, super optimized rush of Zena.
Yeah, I mean, it is a 1-base Protoss, so that high ground bunker could come into play. He could lose his natural base and still survive on the ramp and still be in the game. But
yeah, do the Marines get in the bunker?
4 Marines.
I think they should.
Yeah,
okay, Marines in the bunker.
This is one of the things I like about it. So he only puts them in the bunker when they get pushed back this far, and then he's got good repair micro.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Marines weren't in there, or it wasn't full of Marines yet. Now it's up to 4.
Yeah, lots of SCVs are dying repairing the bunker. However, there is enough to actually hold on, which is quite good. The damage is high enough from the Marines to sort of force the roaches back in underground. SCV production was very heavy early on, so it can lose a fair few, but the losses are starting to mount as WickedBot gets knocked down to 16 workers. We'll see if it can maintain production, get up enough units to hold the line, all the while Zena is just reinforcing more and more roaches. One actually dies as the damage is high enough and the burrow is not completing. So some roaches are dying. It's not a flawless attack by Zena using that burrow mechanic. And another one dies.
Yeah. And like losing SCVs is terrible, but this is a scenario where it's okay to lose SCVs, you know? You lose half your SCVs, you're still 2 orbitals against a 1-base Zerg, which is fine. As long as it's not cutting into your Marine production, which I think it might be at this moment, as he's prioritizing SCVs.
Yeah. WickedBot has had weaknesses with like SCV death spirals in the past where it loses workers and just replaces them. Zena's transitioning though. It's still building roaches, but it's also building drones back at home, so this might actually weaken further attacks. Another roach dies attempting to burrow. The targeting from Zena is really nice, killing the SCVs en masse, but WickedBot's staying alive, which is honestly the main concern at this point.
Yeah, the bunker's definitely not going down, but every time he pops in here, he gets like 2 to 4 SCVs.
Where's the repair? Okay, it does get saved.
And he's, like you said, he's losing roaches, which is a little surprising when you have burrow and there's no detection.
Yeah, you really shouldn't lose any, but I guess it's just the pathing isn't quite working out. Something really nice for WickedBot too is that it's also keeping its marines, like its supplementary marines, behind the bunker. So many bots run them forward and they'll just die, like get picked off by the roaches, whereas if they're sitting in the back, they're getting damage done, they're staying alive. We're now getting stim from WickedBot. We're getting more SCVs produced, so it's trying to get that count back up. Zena's going back in for it once more, though. Roaches are still dying as this trade continues on. The Zerg is getting up a hatchery behind this, as now we're getting a Marauder from WickedBot. I think that's actually quite a big deal. Even a single Marauder being added in could be enough to tip the scales to making this more decisive defense.
Yeah, but for some reason, Marauder's staying on the high ground, which I don't like. Get in there.
Yeah, that's maybe it's trying to stay near the other bunker. It does path down. That's so important for WickedBot.
Yeah, because it's getting to the point where these SCV kills are really significant because he has lost a like there is a new base coming up for Zena as well.
Yeah, like that's why WickedBot really needs more decisive cleanup so it can macro out of this.
Because he's down to 13 SCVs, which honestly, if there wasn't a second hatchery, I'd say that's fine, as bad as that sounds. But now there is a second hatchery, so we need to see some more decisive fights here.
And the targeting on the Marauder is quite nice.
Oh no! The Marauder was key to actually getting some roach kills here, and I think WickedBot just might be out of money. There's nothing left to repair.
It looks like the bunker falls, and the Terran is going to fight at the natural, but oh yeah, stimming the bio forward into unkillable roaches is not a good idea. So we are getting the fast forward, which means the WickedBot is dead. And yeah, very close hold. Like just barely was Zena able to overpower there.
Yeah. I mean, well done by Zena that you know, fighting at the bunker, but not actually trying to kill the bunker. Just using each one of those waves of attacks to kill SCVs until it just got too far out of hand.
Yeah. Well, we did see some roaches go down there, which is good. Shows it can be done. But if he'd have had a scan, I think WickedBot would have stood a good chance of winning that. If you could scan for those.
Yeah, that's why the Marauder was so key. Like, especially if you got a second Marauder, then all of a sudden we'd see roaches dying before they can burrow, and then that can you know, balloon on itself as well and become gigantic for WickedBot. Unfortunately, it blew in the other direction for him. So Zena is up 1-0 now.
All right. Well, let's just getting the other game loaded up here. One sec.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, while we load into that next game, click the like button. If you're watching the VOD or whatever, leave a comment and click like on that too. And yeah, if you want to support AI Arena, where all these bots live and play, check out the Patreon link down below.
Do all those nice things.
Hang on, guys. Victory Screen said WickedBot won. I was reading in chat.
Someone did say that, yeah.
Wait.
Maybe after this game we go back and take a look.
Yeah, because I
is there a chance that?
I mean, possibly. All right.
Did he fully eliminate him, or did you leave the game? I didn't catch it.
Maybe we'll go back and check that after this one. But let's go with this one for the moment.
Okay. Okay, so spawning down in the bottom right, up 1-0 probably. It is the red Protoss Zena. Meanwhile, up in the top left, we have the blue Terran WickedBot, who, unless there's some reevaluation of game one, he is on his last leg here. He must win the next two games to stay in this tournament.
Yeah, Zena's a very tough draw on elimination ground, but we'll see whether WickedBot can make something happen or not. Like, it had the makings of a good defense in game number 1. We can probably assume that it will be on the defense again in game number 2, just because how Zena operates, being the aggressive cheese bot that it is.
Okay, I just checked the VOD. WickedBot was not eliminated, and he got the victory screen.
Oh, did Zena crash or something?
Wow, that was his crash for Zena.
I don't know how we want to call this.
I mean,
he was
like,
down to a command center and 2 gas geysers. But it's definitely WickedBot's victory screen.
Yeah, I'm calling that a WickedBot win then, because you have to eliminate your opponent to win here. So
it's true, yeah.
All right, let's watch this one anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at that for sure.
Throw a screenshot in chat. Okay, anyway, Zena did spawn as Protoss this time, so he's got, what is that, 3 gates on the way into Cybercore? I'll be looking to do some aggressiveness. I think both Zena and WickedBot are really good with like the low tier units and the micro, so that makes this kind of an interesting match. I don't think we'll ever see like a Bow Cruiser versus Tempest fight here, but we'll see some good low tier 1 unit fights. Oh, so look, it's going to be a 4 gate. So 3 gates at home, 4th one out on the field to supplement the fast warp-ins.
Yeah, Zena's going to hit hard and hit fast, as 4 gates are very powerful. And the speed mining, 4 gates were the first showcase of speed mining, and Zena is making use of that. As yeah, it'll build some stalkers back at home, just the old-fashioned way, out of the gateways, but then once Warp Gate is done, it will be able to reinforce very quickly. The Reaper of WickedBot is on Zena's side of the map, trying to harass a little bit. The Stalker is on it and kills it. WickedBot did probably see the gateways, but whether it's going to do anything different, I'm not sure. It does have a bunker building on the low ground. I'm not sure if there's one that will be built on the high ground. It wasn't really a factor in the previous game. Yeah, there are Marines being produced, but like it's going to be 2 Marines versus like 5 Stalkers or 8 Stalkers or something like that.
Yeah, but unlike in game 1, the Stalkers won't get infinite damage like the Burrowed Roaches do. So
it's true,
you will need to break through on the first attack. You probably will be able to. It's probably going to be like 9 Stalkers versus like 2 Marines or something. But that's 2 Marines with a bunker and SCVs repairing. So let's see how this goes.
This is so quick and powerful. As Zena is charging, the Marines need to get in that bunker ASAP. SCVs are going to need to be repaired en masse. And look at that, the targeting is not enough to bring down that bunker, so the repair works, but so many SCVs are being killed. This is Zena's ruthless efficiency. The bunker can't be repaired if all the SCVs are dead, and now WickedBot is in a lot of trouble. It's trying to target down that last injured Stalker. There is at least a bunker on the high ground, but now there's nothing to put in it.
It's about to be, and he does float out command center.
Okay, repair is already starting.
Yeah, picking off 2 Stalkers right away. Even repairing the wall, it's interesting.
I think that's quite important, just to keep the Stalkers out.
But he's losing
more Marines are popping out.
Yeah,
only 6, and it looks like WickedBot doesn't pull the gas SCVs to repair. So I think at this point, WickedBot's hoping for Zena to crash again, potentially.
Yeah, I'm watching very closely this time.
Command center's dead, and okay, so that is a Zena victory.
That is a definite Zena victory right there. Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that's 1-1 because WickedBot won the last game somehow.
So the rules of the tournament do clearly state that you have to win the game. So there's no sort of like chance of like if you get them down low enough, then you win by default. But if you crash, that's it. You lose, unfortunately. So we are going to a game number 3.
That's awesome.
Perhaps not the most earned game 3 by WickedBot, but I'm happy that we're going to a game 3.
I mean, let's do it anyway, guys.
Yeah,
I
me
think,
as well.
by the way, who was it who spotted that? Because I really want to thank them for that. Because like, yeah.
It looks like Yes, Exit, and Dyson both saw it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, thank
Good
you
eye,
very
guys.
much, guys. Thanks. It's really good. Good for you to spot that. All right. So let's go with game number 3.
Okay, once again, spawning as Zerg. Up in the top right, we have the random bot is Zena. And WickedBot is down in the bottom left this time. Came close to actually holding that Mass Stalker thing. I think if he lost all of his SCVs but held that ramp, he might have been in a good spot. Because double orbital is still pretty good for like double muling. It's pretty good mineral income.
It's just crazy how
Just
powerful
ran out of SCVs.
that attack is from Zena. Like,
yeah,
the 2 Marines literally can, or the however many few Marines that WickedBot has out is just like, they just do not deal enough damage to kill the Stalkers, which is crazy. But it's just like the fact that Zena made use of Warp Gate, like, it's like Warp Gate's done, instantly warp in 4 Stalkers, so then you have like 8 at the quickest timing possible. Yeah.
I mean, we saw 4 gates in the bot meta for a while, and to be frank, they were terrible. And then Scarlet came into the bot scene and just made a bot that did a proper 4 gates, with speed mining, with the, proxied 4th gateway for the fastest warp ins with the proper build order. And all of a sudden it became way, way scarier. And bots have adapted to that. They're like, oh, okay, that's how you do a 4 gate. And now there's a bunch of bots that do more or less perfect 4 gates with speed mining, which combines to a lot of stalkers really quickly.
Yeah, like it's like it's interesting because how a pro gamer's insight can arguably help them if they do program a bot, which there's sort of like two sides to it, being a good programmer, then having good game knowledge and bringing it all together. And
like the old 4 gates, the only thing you could say about them is that there were 4 gateways. Other than that, almost everything was done wrong in terms of efficiency. And then when Scarlet brought not only like a perfectly efficient build, but also brought speed mining into the game at the same time, it's like, oh my god, I'm getting hit by 16 stalkers before the 4-minute mark. What the hell is going on? How do I survive this? That bot went to, I think she went straight to number 2 on the ladder when she brought that onto the ladder. No one could deal with the 4 gate.
Okay, Reaper's scooting around. Does engage the Queen, but it might actually die, so
yeah,
that dies quite quickly.
The weird thing is, against Eris, we saw like such amazing Reaper value. He made 3 of them and got like 1,000,000 kills, but now he's just suiciding them all each match.
Yeah, I think it's probably just because WickedBot is playing against random, like it doesn't want to open the 2-Rax Reaper against a random bot, which is strange because I've definitely seen it do it in a TVT, definitely seen it in a TVZ. So maybe it's just TVP the author doesn't like the 2-Rax Reaper opening or something, which is because otherwise they may as well just do it against random if they do it against every race. But maybe it's just something they haven't updated or changed yet. As we do have Zena actually on 2 bases in this game. This is not a 1-base rush like the first match. It's just going to be roaches again, but this time it's going to be like supercharged, super fast roach max out, which is one of Zena's strongest builds. It's an example just of how fast a bot can max out with speed mining. Like, this is so optimized, like it's gonna be a ridiculous amount of Zerg against not much Terran bio. And we'll see if WickedBot can do something.
Yeah, it's going to be like 10 times scarier, but it will be against probably a bot with Metavax and Stim, so that will help. Will it help enough? I don't know. And Marauders. That Marauders actually be a really big deal.
Yeah, we'll see too. Like I don't think WickedBot will be able to hold the natural, but again, the high ground ramp, there's the bunker there. There's always a chance, and there is going to be a lot of damage here. So if the bunker can be repaired and the bio can put out all that damage with the Marauders and maybe even Stim Pack this time, we'll see, as WickedBot is going to be getting attacked very soon.
I kind of expect the bunker to hold, but I expect all the SCVs to die trying to keep it held.
Okay,
we'll
the
see. Here
bio is in the back, dealing lots of damage, forcing roaches underground. Not many SCVs are pulled initially, and they're actually struggling to get around the bio. WickedBot loses the bunker, unfortunately, and now the damage is being spread out across those roaches as they take the hits and then they burrow. SCVs are being pulled, kind of, as they're attempting to start a new bunker. Zena's had all its roaches forced underground, but oh man, there's the pop. As they all pop up, the bio was right underneath them. And yeah, WickedBot is in some trouble.
Yeah. He does have medevacs though, so he kind of has his own healing as well.
Yeah,
but
the Marauders are doing quite well. Look at all those burrowed roaches. Zena pops them all again, but WickedBot just has to force them underground, maybe somehow build up enough of a bio army, but we see it's SCVs on the production tab for WickedBot. It's not units, and Zena's roaches count is just growing and growing. There's got to be like 40, yeah, there's got to be almost 50 roaches out now.
This is not a one base Zerg this time either, so losing all your mining at your natural base is gigantically bad for WickedBot here.
Yeah, no SCVs
Zena's
left.
proving that he is the 4th seed in this tournament, so...
Yeah, unless there's a crash again. It was Zerg that it crashed against last time.
Oh, that would be so sad.
Oh, no, we definitely have the...
Can you imagine Zena winning all 3 games but losing 2-1 because of a crash?
It can happen. It definitely can happen. We've seen it more in earlier tournaments. Actually, it happened a lot. In later tournaments, the bots have got more reliable, but definitely in earlier tournaments, we had a lot of crashes, and it was it was almost a lottery sometimes as to which bot was going to get through, even if one bot was in a winning position. So yeah.
Maybe Zena just did it to flex.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so confident, I'm just going to give you the first game.
You could have it. 1-0 advantage there, you know. That's all good.
It's like when a chess player lets the clock run down at the start of the game. It's like, I don't need that time.
Yeah.
I can still beat you.
All right.
Okay, so
we have one
unfortunately, that was the end of the road for WickedBot.
Yeah. I would say WickedBot's improving.
Amazing first tournament.
And like for his first tournament, he's done so well, and can't wait to see him in future tournaments and future pro bots as well. So that will be good.
Yeah, I think you got to show off what his bot does well, and you got to see examples of where his bot's lacking. So that's like a perfect scenario for a for a tournament. You get to feel good, and you get to add to your to-do list of what to do for the next tournament.
Definitely. So here's one bot I did not expect to see here. It is Sharkbot. Taking the win against Zena, but losing against Sharpened and Zozo. 2 very strong bots, certainly. But, you know, I guess it slipped down the seedings a little bit. But, you know, still quite a very strong bot.
Yeah, the Sharpened Edge one's probably a little surprising to me. I would have thought Sharkbot's stronger, but PvP is a volatile matchup, and Sharpened Edge doesn't really have any holes and makes a lot of units, and they're, you know, Stalkers and Morals. You plow Stalkers and Morals at a Protoss opponent, that'll win a lot of the time, and probably did here.
Yeah, Sharkbot can almost be a little too fancy for its own good at times.
Definitely. That's
so
well put.
This opponent could be a bad draw just because SmallBL is simple and aggressive, which we'll see how Sharkbot handles that.
Yeah, SmallBL hasn't really impressed that much. Taking the win against Avocados, who we saw earlier today. So, you know, I mean, definitely one that's been around a while, but is improving a bit as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more simple bots, but he does have 2 builds now. So he's got the normal Ling Flood, and then he's got the Burrow Roach play as well. Yeah, or maybe it's just a Roach all in. I can't recall. Something with roaches.
Cool. All right. Well, for our last
And yeah,
series,
and then we got the bot that might be too fancy. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out.
definitely. So for our last series of the night, let's get underway.
Okay, speaking of Sharkbot, he is the red Protoss spawning up in the top left of Pylon. And down in the bottom right, we have the cheesy Zerg. It is SmallBL. Going down early pool and quick gas, which makes me think it's probably going to be the Ling Flood, but I don't think SmallBL has amazing build orders either, so it could still be the Roach play. I'm not sure.
I think it's going to be Roaches just because we've purely seen Roaches from it in this tournament. So
yeah, okay. Well, that gas is too early if you're going Roaches. FYI, to any other bot
it is,
offers.
yeah. Yeah, maybe not if you're trying to get like the burrow as quickly as possible. Sharkbot does open with a forge first, though. And cannons are pretty much the best thing you can have early game as Protoss against a burrowed Roach Rush.
That is true. I forgot about burrow. I always think like you don't build Roaches for so long, and the Roaches are the first thing that requires gas. But he could be upgrading burrow right now, right? Burrow doesn't require any tech structures. Maybe just
yeah, it should have the minerals soon. Maybe it's waiting for a queen before starting the burrow. Okay, if it just starts burrow, yeah, a little bit late. I don't know the timings for this. I am not a Zerg cheese bot, so I do not know. Sharkbot's got one cannon going up. A second cannon. Okay, I love this. I was worried it was just going to be like one cannon, you know, then go into the Nexus. And no, Sharkbot's playing it nice and safe because I think 2 cannons are probably enough to damage down the Roaches quickly enough. And honestly, SmallBL is a rather simple bot too, so it's probably just going to let the Roaches die as well. So
yeah,
this seems perfect.
Cannons are really good at killing Roaches, and cannons are also really good at detecting. So it kind of handles the burrow Roach play altogether. Are you going to expand? I think you know the answer to that, Sharkbot. A third cannon going down, yeah. So I guess he was waiting to just throw down the Nexus based on whether he saw an expansion, and now he decided he's not expanding, so more cannons.
Yeah, does Sharkbot even have a gateway yet? No, it's just like cannons for days. 3 on the low ground, 2 on the high ground. I got a backup plan even if my natural gets breached. Yeah, the Forge could be the first victim, but looks like the Roaches are just padding forward. And oh my gosh, they're just ignoring the cannons
too. They try to run by.
So maybe those second cannons for Sharkbot were a very smart decision in case anything got by, but...
Yeah, I wonder if that's a specific counter to SmallBL. Maybe when SmallBL sees counters, sees cannons, he just runs by. He runs to somewhere where he's not detected. So if he ran into the main, he would run into just more cannons again.
I'm actually very happy to see this for Sharkbot because I feel like in so many games and series of it, it's like Sharkbot's like a really good Protoss bot. It's got this awesome late game, and then it just dies. So I'm happy to see the bot having a nice defense and probably having this game on lock, to be honest. Like, SmallBL doesn't have a macro follow-up. It's just going to keep sending Roaches. Eventually the Queen will walk across the map, and... yeah.
And these are Roaches that don't want to attack near cannon. Oh, there's the first attack out of a Roach. So we saw a little bit of shield damage for the first time for 4 minutes into this game.
And yeah, I think we've got our victor for this one. If you guys haven't already, click the like button on the stream as we watch Roaches run into their death non-stop.
But honestly, after game 1 of Zena versus WickedBot, we can't call any match over.
It's true, yeah. That's actually a great point. No matter how over it looks, Sharkbot could always just bug out and crash.
Well, he's going to lose his Forge. That's something. He will be on a full 2-base economy with 0 units lost by the time he loses that Forge, but at least it won't be a perfect game out of oh, he lost a probe as well.
2 probes.
Queen number 2.
Now there's 2 queens, actually. Uh-oh, now the queens are gonna run forward.
Kinda. Yeah, so you won't get the forge. Although it looked like that queen wanted to sit back and poke away at forever, but I guess not.
Now we've got
He's probably
Void
trying to
Rays.
transfuse here as well, even though that was removed from the game. Yeah. I mean, these extra bases at least being intercepted. I think we can speed up at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty.
This game is looking 100% over to me.
Unless we literally get a crash from Sharkbot, I think it's pretty much in the bag. And yeah, it just kind of goes to show that rather simple cheeses, which this is, it can be a good cheese, but a simple cheese, they can be countered by simple measures too, just like some cannons.
GG.
Yeah, nice win there for Sharkbot. I don't know if SmallBL has any other builds. I hope he does, but we'll see. Right.
I mean, that Link Flood could work if he picks it up.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not like those cannons are behind a wall or anything at the start of the game. They're more or less exposed to being surrounded by Zerglings.
Yeah.
With that said, it was a lot of cannons.
It was. There were 4 on the low ground and 2 on the high ground as well, just in case one got through. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we might not necessarily get such a perfect defense in game 2 from Sharkbot, because I think that was just like a forge opening, and then it's like, okay, I've got a forge, so let's build cannons. But who knows? Maybe if it opens with a gateway or something, we'll get a different like response, which might not be as strong as the mass cannons.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like he did that forge opening because he's playing SmallBL. It just feels like a really good choice. You know, cannons are the perfect answer to burrow roaches.
All right. Well, let's see.
Anyways, spawning in the top left here, we have the red Protoss Sharkbot up 1-0. And SmallBL trying to stay alive in this tournament, must win the next 2 games. He is the blue Zerg in the bottom left. A little bit closer rush distance this time, which should favor SmallBL, help him a little bit. Once again, pull into quick gas, which I'm guessing is going to mean burrow roaches again.
Yeah, I wonder if Sharkbot has some kind of, like, I don't know how Sharkbot selects its builds. Like, I don't know if it has a memory like lots of other bots or what. But clearly it's selecting the good one here.
Yeah. I think if I were to make a Protoss bot, this is what I would do. Just like forge, expand into like taking straight up your tech tree to some Stargate nonsense. I love cannons and mass expanding as Protoss.
Sharkbot's probe being a jerk.
Yeah, and actually preventing that roach worm from going down for whatever reason.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Probe actually does leave this time though, so okay, it's coming back. I was about to say, because last time it hung around and waited until it saw the roaches. Because I think this build is selected to hard counter SmallBL, but at the same time, I don't think Sharkbot's fully blind countering. Like, I think he's still reacting based off what his probe sees. So
yeah,
if his probe went back
so
home
too.
and he had no idea that whether he expanded it or not, he might have taken the Nexus early. But here, and seeing that there's no hatchery going down, he's straight to 3 cannons.
Yeah, and Sharkbot's a very old bot. I'm sure the author has witnessed cheeses like this many times and planned accordingly.
Gotta say that high ground cannon stuff is kind of weird, but it definitely works because it does seem like SmallBL tries to run by the cannons in the front.
Yeah, there usually is a method to the madness from Sharkbot, which makes any decision it makes. It's like, okay, there's got to be a reason for this, and
okay, here's your skill testing question. Why is there 3 pylons on the high ground for those cannons?
I don't know, but I'm sure the author has a reason why.
Certainly doesn't need the supply when he doesn't even have a gateway yet.
No, it is. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's Sharkbot and that's all they do in the late game anyway is build cannons and pylons. So, like, yeah, there's 2 more going up. That's a good gotcha question. I can't explain that one.
Is that Roachborn a threat of dying? Because that thing's been flashing for a while.
Could be. No. Are the roaches just running by?
Where are the roaches actually?
They have they not been constructed till now? Yeah, like SmallBL is just broken here. I wonder if the delay on that roach warren just crippled it. Because nothing's died, right? Like, we haven't been... Okay, it lost 1 roach. That's so strange how SmallBL broke. Oh, it's supply blocked. So yeah, it must have...
problem.
Yeah, I don't know how it got supply blocked, but it did. Did an Overlord die? Like, can we get a Shift L or something? No Overlord died. Just a bit of a supply block, so...
Yeah, he's immediately supply blocked again with no second Overlord in the production window, so... I guess he'll unsupply block himself by funneling roaches to their death. So that's one way to get a supply block.
It is a self-solving problem.
I mean, that will cluster all the... Like, once he unsupply blocks himself with another Overlord, he'll be able to build like 5-6 roaches all at the same moment in time. So at least that'll gather the roaches together somewhat. But 5 or 6 roaches is still worthless versus 5 cannons, especially when you don't really attack.
Yeah, it's true. It would be interesting, like, just for variation's sake, which is, like, I think, like, one of the easiest variations you can do if you have a cheese bot is just, like, alter the amount of pooling you do on the units. Like, if SmallBL saved up 30 roaches here, like, which it could do before Sharkbot got out the Stargates, like, it could break this cannon wall, I think. But just trickling them has its weaknesses, so...
And that's really good advice if you want to, say you've just made a cheese bot and you want to add variation to it. It's not like you have to go, okay, now I need to design a whole macro build. It's like, no, just do a small variation on that cheese. You know, change the time that you attack. You know, like if you're attacking a 20 supply of army, try attacking a 40 supply of army, and now you got a second build. You know, something different to try. But yeah, 6 cannon, come on, overkill.
Hey, it might get damage on a cannon. It did hurt a cannon.
Ooh, hull damage. I think we should have awarded victory.
Sharkbot will never get back. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this day of StarCraft bots. It's been a longer one, but yeah, thanks for all sticking with us through all these best of 3s. I think the results of this one are pretty clear.
Yep. Mass Void Rays going in to finish the job. Hopefully they don't get distracted by too many roaches. Distracted by overlords.
Well done, Sharkbot. Glad to see it surviving in the tournament.
Yeah, nice one, Sharkbot. We will see that again pretty soon, next week. So yeah. All right, we have our last 6 competitors in the Swiss that are going to be playing next week. So let's have a look at who they are. One sec.
No bunnies required this time?
Actually, we do require. Yeah, we're requiring buddies.
Okay.
You know, yeah, we've got buddies coming up. So,
and there's is there no repeat matches, or can we have repeat matches?
No,
for
there
this
won't
round?
be any repeat matches. So what we will do the draw, and I will try to make sure my best that we don't have, but I won't guarantee it until I've done a full check. But going into the draw, we will have Zozo, GPT, and Sharpened Edge from the top bracket, who lost today. Joining them will be Avocados, Zena, and Sharkbot, all taking a win from the lower bracket.
So it's upper. It's like the victors of the 2-1s against the losers of the 1-2s, or can the
No, it can be anyone against anyone.
Okay.
So yeah, right. So we only need six bunnies today, so I'm just going to have to prepare my tin.
So toss a couple bunnies.
Yeah, go fly off bunnies. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You might cut it as you said that, so it sounded like you censored yourself.
So,
go
fly off, bunnies!
No,
the bunnies have got into the stream. That's it. The ones that are discarded have got on the stream, and then they've like buggered everything. All right, so let's have a look at the draw for 1 second. So Zozo will be number 1, GPT number 2, Sharpened Edge number 3, Avocados number 4, Zena number 5, and Sharkbot number 6. All right. So I will have to just unblur my screen, so you'll have to see how terribly messy everything is in my room right now. Else you won't be able to see the... And we have our tin. So we have, first up, it's number 6, which is Sharkbot. And Sharkbot has faced Zena, and I think Sharpened Edge before.
Yeah, Zena, Sharpened Edge, and Zozo.
So up against number 4, Avocados. So yes, that is a confirmed matchup. Sharkbot will play Avocados. And next up, it is going to be number 5, Zena. And coming up against number 3, Sharpened Edge, which
they have not played.
They have not played. So the next 2.
I like that matchup. That'll be good.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And the next 2 is going to be number 2, which is GPT. And this should be number 1, which is Zozo, hopefully. There we go, bunny number 1, Zozo. So we have our matches for next week. It will be Sharkbot up against Avocados. It will be Zena versus Sharpened Edge. And then GPT versus Zozo. Very simple next week. It is win and you're through, lose and you go home. Into the scrap heap.
Yeah, so it's exciting to have that coming up. And yeah, people in chat just asking if there's an update. There's updates for the bots after the round of 8, unless I'm mistaken. So the authors who know they're through can already start maybe planning or updating if they wish.
Yes, we'll do the draw next week once we know who is going through. But there will be a 1-week pause between the end of the Swiss round and the start of the round of 8. Sorry, I'm going to be away that week, so we can't do a cast. But we'll be back the week after, and we will do all the round of 8 and everything after that.
It's good for the bot authors then, right? So
yes,
I mean, they get an extra week
to
work on their
to work on it. So I'll update
the round of 8s.
Yeah, I'll update the deadline pretty soon for you guys. So that's all for now, unfortunately. Thank you very much, Ketrock and Laughing Games, for sticking with us. And it's been a long cast, but we got there in the end.
It's been a good time, yeah. And thanks so much, Crypt, for organizing and observing and doing the stream. So
it's been good, and thanks everyone for tuning in. And we will see you next week. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.